Welcome in, everyone, to episode 116 of the Balcast podcast. I'm your host, Peng, joined by my co-host, Anicor, who's now in London, if I'm not mistaken.
Back in London. Look at the clarity. Look and hear the clarity. This is the kind of clarity you can only get in London.
I will say, for those that don't, obviously no one would know besides us, or I don't even know if you know this, but when we usually record and you're all the way in Japan or Australia, the quality was like not the best.
No.
Actually, you almost always perpetually have some type of like warning health check under your name for some reason when we record. I don't know why, but this time around I can't actually see the difference. But when you're in Australia or when you're in Japan,
Yeah.
it was so grainy at times, or sometimes you'll say something and like it doesn't come through, and I'm just sitting there like hoping. I'm like, please, like the final product. Hopefully, it's not bad. And usually, the final product is actually really good, right? Like because it's recorded, it's recording from your end. It just might not translate over well to my end. But that's why sometimes when we're talking, like I can't figure out what you're saying, or we'll talk over each other a lot because I can't hear you, right? And then it comes in later.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying, I'm like using a lot of deductive skills trying to figure out what you're saying sometimes.
Just sitting there hoping I'm not asking a question. Like,
yeah, and it doesn't help too because with the English accent, sometimes I really don't know what you're saying too. But sometimes it's not you or the accent; it's just the distance
the quality,
from where we're recording.
Now we're closer. Amazing.
We are. So it's good. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about, right? We're right after. I was gonna say the eve. What's the opposite of eve? Like the eve of events, but it's right after events.
I don't know, man. I feel like if you didn't ask me that question, I would have known.
You know? Okay. We'll think on that one. Anyone in the audience, let me know too if it comes to you. But we're just coming back from Pittsburgh, or I am personally, but also the event just happened, the first regional of the season, and we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into all that, let's discuss the YouTube comments from the past 2 episodes. We didn't talk about it last week because Axon was on. But going back from episode 114, AB says, I've been away for a while. Whatever happens to Zionic? So Zionic is fine. He's still doing well. He's still making content. He actually recently moved as well. I don't know how close he lives to you in London. You might not know either, but
did he move to London?
No. Well, he's been in London.
Is it? Oh, I thought he was.
Well, sorry. I should restate that. He's been in the UK.
Okay.
Like a short train ride to London,
right.
And then he moved somewhere else within the UK. I don't know where, and it's not really my business to share either, if I knew. But Zionic's good. So this was a little over a year ago. Zionic decided he didn't really have the time for the podcast. He was the main host. And so he said, hey, if you want to continue it, I'd be happy to give you like transfer all ownership and everything over to you, because I'd rather see it go on than just die off, just because I don't have the time and energy for it. And I said, yeah, that's totally fine. So I took it on, and then I had Speedy as Chief, and then Speedy Chief, similar story, and now we have Anicor until Anicor retires. So we'll figure it out. Yeah. I'm taking auditions ready for my fourth co-host.
Hey, a month at least.
Yeah. We'll see once these bets start rolling around what happens.
But yeah,
that's what. But that's what happened with Zionic. Me and him are still friends and stuff, and we still work together from time to time when we're commentating, mostly in Europe. But yeah, it's good to see him from time to time too. Sudapop says, I started listening to podcasts when it was Caleb and Speedy, and it quickly became my favorite Pokemon Go podcast. I'm going to miss Speedy and his analogies, but am excited for what's to come with Anicor. Hopefully the big bets are on a more even playing field, since Caleb only makes big bets on things he's confident on winning. Don't fall for his traps, Anicor. It's too late. The trap's already been set. Yeah. So, my Galarian Stumpfist is ready to clamp down. On another note, what are your opinions on Niantic removing guaranteed XLs from trades? Caleb made a tweet about how the 3 times and 4 times dust is making PvP more accessible, which I agree with, but by removing XLs from distance trades, it makes obtaining some of the top meta Pokemon for Great League and Ultra League more difficult to get. It also promotes using methods that are against TOS, uh features TOS to get XLs like spoofing, account sharing, using auto walkers, etc. Getting XLs is difficult enough already, and sitting through 100 trades a day is a decent trade off that should be a permanent feature. It also pushes Niantic's mission of getting players out and meeting others, since you have to have a trade partner to benefit. I have a handful of friends because I needed to trade with someone. Now I won't be trading with them because we won't be able to get XLs from trades. Yeah, that's actually a really great point.
Mm,
Um, Me personally, I think that should be a permanent feature, but it from Niantic's perspective, they like to have that bonus like rotate
yeah.
every other season. I personally just think this current season's of update or like the bonus is pretty like mediocre. I think it's good if you're trying to gain experience. Like you get what like 1.5 experience from
1.5,
friendship
yeah.
level up, and
It's not like a
an extra
double friend
gifts
level
you
up
can
or
hold.
anything like that either. So it's just
No,
it is a bit
yeah,
lackluster.
it's
But I
just the
think personally,
experience.
I think I think the XL from trades thing is like relatively balanced because if I
Mhm.
remember correctly, you still get guaranteed XL if it's a distance trade, right?
Right.
And so you still have access to distance trades through like 7K eggs, without like
Hmm.
breaking TOS, like through 7K eggs,
Yeah, doing
maybe
raids.
raids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's like relatively balanced because I do distinctly remember it might have been before XL, it might have actually been like while XL was about, just saving up a load of like long distance stuff and
Yeah.
targeting those trades for that, and it didn't feel like too unfair. I feel like we have been spoiled with the guaranteed XL trades, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I see that as something that's just going to come in and out, as opposed to just like a one-off. So I'm fine with
Yeah.
it personally, but it was
Yeah,
what it was.
I'm personally okay with it, but obviously I play the game a lot more, so I have a lot of things.
Right.
Like I have almost anything I need that's relevant Excel
Mhm.
built already. Like I'm swarming like Palmy and like Lechonk right now for XLs. For
Fair
XLs
enough.
I need because just in case I'm going to run like a Oinkalone or something in
Yeah, yeah,
Ultra League, right? But it's just not. It's not really necessary to have. But I know that not everyone's in my position, and also,
that's true.
fortunately for my work as a commentator, I travel a ton, so I always come
Mhm.
back with a bunch of things to distance trade from my friends locally. So I think I definitely come from a more privileged privileged position in terms of trading purposes. But I agree. I personally think yeah, it'd be nice to have that as a guaranteed feature.
Mm.
Uh, but I can see why not. I can see from a nice standpoint why they don't want that to have a permanent feature, but rather have it like every other season. It
Yeah,
seems like they have been doing it every other
that's what I
season
feel like
though,
as well. Yeah.
which is not too bad. Because I guess like the other perspective is if you can hold on to some of these Pokemon from distance trades or
Mm.
things that you want to, maybe you want Lickitung or something, right? You don't
Yeah.
have a lot of Lickitung to save. Just hold on to him for 3 months. Come back 3 months later, just offload them right to your
Yeah.
locals,
Yeah.
and then you do the same thing. Because at least for me personally, there's plenty of storage. Like I have my storage maxed out, and for like I'm constantly sitting over like 300, 400 extra space
Really,
for sort. Are you running low or
bro, I'm
wait?
over
Do you have it maxed?
it. Yeah.
Wait, what are you
But you know
hoarding?
what I realized? Yeah, is that every time I'm going to clear it out, yeah, bro, I've got like something like 200 snow runs from like 3 years ago or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you still
I
have
don't know,
that?
man. I don't know. But like
Are you trying to
now
make an
it's too
Ultra
late
League
to dash them.
Frostlass?
I think that was the point at the time. Yeah. But like, I used to have this like thought where I was like, well, I'll collect this thing because I want it back. And
Yeah.
eventually I'll find someone who also has it to mirror. Yeah.
Oh, you're waiting to mirror?
Yeah, yeah. But then I realized, like, people
It's
don't really think in the same way. So, like, nobody ever has it to mirror.
no. I used to think like that too, but at a certain point, I was just like,
It's not worth
no one's gonna have a
it.
bunch of Galarian
Yeah.
Ponytots mirror with me at
Yeah,
low
literally.
friendship, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't need it like I
It's
do.
true. It's true.
So I
Yeah.
just stopped doing it. I just been trading. Unless it's something really rare, right? Like
Yeah.
for me, like Volbee's still fairly rare because you're really
Yeah.
mostly just
Yeah.
hatching
Yeah.
them, right? Or once in a while you get Adventure Sync from it. So and they haven't spawned ever at events. Like
Yeah.
Pawniards I used to hold, but now I'm just like, well, Pawniard was all replacing GoFest. I don't need any
Yeah.
Pawniard. I just like
Yeah.
trade them. I don't even need the XLs for it actually, so I don't even hold them
Yeah. You
anymore.
get loads from hatching. Like, I didn't realize how
Yeah.
quickly they stack up. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mm,
So um
troll.
but yeah, Pseudopop, I do get what you're saying. I wish it was like that, but unfortunately, 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 Niantic's current stance is not the case. I will say too, and again, even if you personally can't travel, because we have so many events these days, but like event like location based events, specifically like
Mm,
regionals and international and stuff like that, but also some of these safari zones and other events are coming back. Hopefully you have locals and friends that are traveling some of these, right? Like, oh, I'm heading up to Knoxville or something for the regional or whatever, blah blah blah. I'm gonna come back with this Pokemon, then you could do some trades with them, right? So part of it's like you kind of have to hustle a little bit,
mm,
because I don't know, this is Niantic's perspective. They're like, oh, you have trade partners, right? But now we don't have guaranteed XLs. You gotta find some new people to meet to trade with, right? Maybe they have some distance trades. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not the kind of person that needs like XL. Actually, I should take that back. I was gonna say I'm not the kind of person that tries to get XLs for everything, but like for the most
yeah,
part,
we
I
need
do have
it.
XLs for everything. Yeah, like I'm working on like XLs for Sneasel for whatever reason. Like I'm never going to use a
Hey,
Sneasler in Master League or
you
Weavile,
never
right?
know.
But you never know, I guess. But
That
yeah,
Hisuian Sneasel is actually surprisingly high on the Master Premier rankings. So
really,
yeah, I
hmm.
don't. I mean, I say I don't know why, but I guess it's because it's got like close combat, and
Shadow Call,
maybe it's like
yeah.
super hard. Yeah,
Yeah, I only know about that
surprisingly high.
because Speedy mentioned that he was trying to work on his. He has a hundo for
Mm.
a hundo Hisuian Sneasel that he can make into Sneasler and stuff. But the fact that I've never seen one in Master League Premier likely means it's just not relevant, right? Like if anything like that's like I've seen Galissapod in Master
Yeah.
League, so DH Khan says, so the new competitive format is interesting. One thing I learned from Yokohama is that competitors get nice perks. They have easier access to the store. If World Championships goes back to Japan, I will try to qualify. I have no OGL experience, very few OGL Mons, but am sitting on 100 million dust. My
Whoa,
goodness. That's a lot of dust.
yo,
This was written 11 days ago before
bro,
Ultra Unlock came around. DH Khan, you got the
he's at least on
resources. Yeah.
101.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You have very few OGL mons, but you definitely you're well resourced to probably make
yeah,
plenty, right? Because if you have that much Stardust, you catch it. So
yeah.
DHCon got all the probably XLs that they need. So
True.
um but yeah, yeah, definitely the case. Competitors do get a specific access to go in, or if you're friends with competitors. I know Anicor was tagging along with the competitors to the Pokemon Center. He was like, "Hey, you got a spot for me. You got a spot
Hey,
for me."
yeah,
But each competitor was able to
what
bring
we can do.
two additional. No, it wasn't even two. It was like four, right?
I think
Was
it
it?
was
It was
like
like three or four. It wasn't two. I think you had to
I
bring at
think it
least
was two,
three
but there was just
people.
so many people around.
Was that it? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe that's what it was.
Because I think
But you
at
could
one
bring.
point I was with you, and then I saw someone else, and
Yeah,
I
you
went
just
there,
left
and
me.
someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, yo, I'm gonna hang out with
yeah,
someone else
yeah.
instead. It's in line.
There's only so much insult I can take.
Yeah, we're staying in line for a while too.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's
that is
cool.
definitely a perk too.
Also, the stuff you get for like the competitor pack as well. It's almost like an extra,
Oh yeah.
prize money.
You
So
you could sell that off
yeah,
for a couple hundred easy. And the cards themselves, the
mm,
competitor cards, when you compete, you get a set of competitor cards. And assuming you don't even place well, if you place like top 32 or something, you get
yeah,
extra cards on top of that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Those sell for a lot.
yeah.
And I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but it was actually Avrip that came to me, and he's from Australia. He said, "Hey, is this a real $100 US bill?" And I looked at it. I was like, "Yeah, it is." Like I was holding it to the light. You could see the security strip or whatever.
Mm,
I said, "Why?" And he's like, "Oh, I someone offered me. I think it was like $300. $300 or $500 US dollars for his competitor cards." And it was
nice.
like right after you guys competitor bag where we got the cards and we were in line. And the moment I saw that, I was like, dude, you're ripped off. I'm sorry to say that.
I
I mean,
don't
it's
want
a
to
real
say it,
hundred
bro.
dollar bill. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to
He's
say
like, why,
it,
why,
but it's
why?
too low.
Because I don't know what he did with his competitor cards from last year in London because he
Yeah,
was qualified worlds there too. But the ones from London, you could sell easily for over $1,000, right? Right now. But I know someone that was offering I think 2,000 or $2,500
wow,
for the London cards from last year recently.
that's mad.
They were asking if maybe I'd be willing to sell or something like that. But and the cards from this year are also valuable, right? If someone's willing to offer you 300, $500 on the spot, you're
then you
probably
know
getting
you
ripped
know.
off. But it
One thing
is
I
what it
did
is.
hear
Like, it's
though,
not like the money's like fake. It's just that
yeah.
you could probably sell for a little bit more if you're really trying to make some cash off of it.
So I don't know much about the TCG, but one thing I did hear is apparently last year's card was like usable in competitive
Did
play.
Dijon say this to you?
I don't know. Someone told me. And they said
He
that this
said the
year's
same
one
thing to
wasn't as
me.
usable. So like you probably would get a lot of people who are looking at last year's cards prices and being like, okay, well I want to buy this year's cards. And so will probably offer a bit too much and potentially the price would go down after the event. But I also haven't looked at the prices since the event. So I don't know if it is true or not.
So Dijon said the same thing to me. He's like, "Hey, look, like, yeah, it's still worth like maybe like a couple hundred to 1,000 something dollars, but it's not as worth much because of what you said." And then literally a few days later in Japan, someone was like, "Dude, no, these are actually worth like at least over $2,000." And so I go back to Dijon later, and I'm like, I thought you said this wasn't worth much. Like, I was just this. He's like, look, listen. I was wrong. Like, it is actually worth. It is actually worth more than I thought it was. So
Uh,
yeah. So
not
anyway, for
fair,
anyone
man.
that does have those competitor cards, or for anyone that qualifies in the future, you essentially get a plastic sealed set of cards. It's like maybe like 10 or so or 15 or so cards. They're essentially written in all the different official languages for the trading card game. So it's the same card, but in like 15 or so different languages. But you don't want to open it, right? You want to keep it in mint condition. You don't want to open it. You want to sell it as a pack. You're not going to make much money selling them like, oh, here's the English version, here's the Japanese version, which one you want, right? You guys sell as a whole pack, and sealed and stuff. So something to note. Yeah, it is worth something for sure.
Yeah.
RC Cole says no mentions of me in the list of Ryan's. Satch also, yeah, because it's like Ryan's to look out for.
Yeah.
Also, bummed to see Speedy go officially. Man has a lot of hats, so understandable. Looking forward to seeing what Anicor brings going forward. You're right, Ryan, but at the same time, the thing with the other Ryans is that they made it on stream, right? You got Ryan Swag and Rambo Man Ryan. They made it on stream. We need to get you on stream first before you could join the list of Ryans to watch out for. So we'll see. I know Ryan's
Ideally
gone
against
to
Polly.
ideal
That's
against Polly.
the
Yeah,
yeah, that's the
yeah. Spoiler: he wasn't at
seeding.
Pittsburgh, so no
Yeah.
no CMP shenanigans from him this
He's
time
dodging
around.
all the
But
Ryans.
yeah, dodge the Ryans. Um, but yeah, I know Ryan Colgrove was at San Diego and Fresno regionals, and he's like, my goal is to make it on stream. But I think he was like one battle away from making on stream. Like someone like knocked him to losers right before he could have had the stream match. But we'll see. Maybe at Sacramento. Crocodile says, "Oh man, good to see Speedy go. All the best to him, Caleb. Think you should cast in Cockney British accent for when, not if you lose the bet."
Yeah, yeah.
What is Cockney British accent? Is it like what's the difference between like a British accent? Like what's a Cockney British accent?
So generally, the UK has like loads of different accents. Yeah. So
Hmm.
Cockney is more like the original London accent, which is now a bit more similar to Essex. So, uh,
Can you do it?
yeah, but I like I'm on the spot. So it's a bit like this. It's a bit more emphasized on like the I don't know, the words are a bit sharper. They're a bit more. I I couldn't exactly. I feel like this is roughly, you know, about the. It's not as strong as some Cockneys would be. But my theory about where Cockney comes from is
You
that
sound Scottish
nah, bruv,
a little bit.
nah, bruv,
Maybe not. Maybe not.
not even close, bruv.
You sound like someone I see in a pub, right? Like,
Yeah, that
we're getting
honestly,
a drink.
that is probably like a good stereotype of the Cockney accent in it. Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, if it was on TV, that's probably what you'd hear in it. And then you've got like I couldn't exactly say what mine is, yeah, but like mine's sort of like more London at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a bit more like okay, I'm not gonna say the only reference I have, yeah, is if you've watched Top Boy, yeah. Now
I
my
haven't seen it.
accent isn't that like deep, yeah, but is along the same sort of lines, I would say.
Mm,
Um, yeah, that's the best
okay.
way I can explain it. But Brav, hey, if you want to put this as a little you
A
know
bet.
Wager, yeah, man. I can.
What would the wager
I'll
be though?
coach you.
Like
I don't know.
I don't think I could go like let's say we record a podcast, I speak in a British accent the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to have a serious discussion with me about this? All right, let's talk about the Los Angeles regional, might right? Like, there's no way, right? Like, there's no way you can keep a straight face. I don't know if I can, right? I just acted like yeah, no big deal. I just switch it on, and we just talk like usual.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd need some coaching as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure. I just pulled that out of nowhere, right? So I'm not
Yeah,
expecting to be good. I'll think on it. I mean, if we could think of something reasonable that yeah, I don't know,
yeah.
but
A bonus episode. There we go.
yeah,
It's like what's it?
yeah.
It's
We might
always
have to
sunny.
like share like a drink or something. You know, we'll be
Yeah.
drinking and stuff and just chat. And no way, I don't know,
Uh,
but we'll
yeah,
see.
it's always sunny episode. It's like Caleb
Oh, I haven't
speaks in
seen
a
It's
Cockney
Always
accent.
Sunny.
Have you not seen? Nah, bro. It's
No,
mad
I
because
heard
you
it's
were
pretty good.
questioning my like video watching at one point.
Was I about
Yeah.
what?
I don't know.
Like
I
what
think it
you've
was
seen
like
and what you haven't
movies or
seen?
something. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, to
I
be fair,
mean,
I don't watch
yeah, I mean
movies.
that's one TV show I guess in the U.S. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
No, I've seen a lot of the random stuff. Lily Knight says, long time listener, first time commenter since Zionic days. Wow,
No.
that's old school.
Hmm.
Sad to see Speedy leave as well. Hope to see his podcast continue to grow though. Yeah, we're doing what we can. We got some things coming up for sure. Mike Daniel says, sad to hear Speedy leaving the podcast. I think the chemistry between you two was great. Good luck, Anicor, as a substitute co-host.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you know the dynamic will really start to develop the moment the bets start coming in online, right?
Yeah.
That's when
I don't know how you're gonna react to losing. You know what I mean? It's a bit of
you know
dynamic there. Yeah.
he's you just keep waiting. You'll see. You'll
If you
see.
lose
Might
enough,
be waiting
do
for a
I
while.
start doing the intro? I'm, I'm
You
joined by
can,
my
yeah.
co-host.
Yeah, yeah. We could throw that on the line if you want. Yeah. A Christopher 509 says, "Do you know what, bruv? In it, nice to see some British flair on the pod. Welcome, Anacor, and I wish you the best. Maybe I should have you read that one." Forno says, "I think the punishments for the small bets like Stardust or catches should definitely be where the loser has to run a much more difficult team of the winner's choosing." Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
actually that is pretty much in line with what our Trevenant bet is
Yeah.
for the Stardust.
Do you
So
know
pretty
what?
good
I want to
on that
say
one.
something, yeah, about the Trevenant
Yeah,
bet. So I don't know if
I've
it's
seen a decent
fortunate,
amount in Great
huh?
League.
Bro,
I've seen
bro,
a decent amount in Great League.
in Great League, bruv, I've been using
Well,
it in
Ultra
Ultra League.
League,
Like,
but Ultra League is different. The Ultra League it is better.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
better
but
in
I've
Ultra League than
like
Ultra Great League.
genuinely been using it in it. And I was like,
I
you know
haven't really.
what? Yeah, if
Yeah,
I was like, if I lose, it's not much of a loss, you know what I mean? Because
we need to check.
I'd
We
be
need to check
using it
the
all the
elo
time
later.
anyway.
I need an update.
Yeah,
Um, Not an impossible team, but super spicy to make the legend race harder for the loser of small bucks. Dude, Forno is completely on point with what we end up going with too. And I didn't even read the comment earlier, so yes, we're on the same page for sure. Sad to see Speedy go, but great to see things still moving forward. It was great to meet you in person at NYC, Caleb, and I definitely plan to attend the San Antonio tournament in December. Yeah, best of luck, Forno. Yeah, I met Forno at New York Go Fest at the PvP area, and I remember because when he said his name, because when you look at it on YouTube, it looks like FOMO, but it's actually R and N, or like it's actually really close. So it still looks like FOMO from here, but I just remember uh, his name, so that's why I know it's Forno. But Forno did trade me a carbon actually at low friendship. It was like a 115, like 12 or something.
oh
It's like
man,
I guess I'll wait for level
level 60.
60.
Yeah,
But
there
yeah.
you
Yeah.
go. Immortal.
Yo, our favorite listener, Squirrel Trapper's back
Where did
9
he
days
go,
ago. I don't
bruv?
know, but they
Okay,
came back with some hate as expected.
let's
Says good
go.
riddance, Speediest was cringe to the max and delusional about PvP being an esport. You know, I feel like I feel a little upset because he didn't throw me into it. He only said Speedy's cringe and
Yeah,
delusional about PvP. What about me?
I
Are
think
we
you've got
not
a good
delusional
amount of
about
delusion.
PvP as
Yeah,
well?
I think we have healthy
I don't
amount of
know.
delusion. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Score Trapper's saving some of that love for us later on, right? Because he knows we'll
Yeah,
still
yeah,
be
yeah.
around to comment. But
I guess he came back for like the send off, the speedy send off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like he
yeah,
couldn't leave without
yeah.
saying goodbye.
I
So
know. Yeah, yeah. Even Squirrel Trappers in this episode wishing Speedy off.
uh,
That's the best part.
so cute.
Hey, salute to you, Squirrel Trapper. We
Mhm.
got Tristan saying Breakpoint Carbon got way better after the update. With Spark change, Breakpoint Carbon can now beat Spark Lantern in the 0 and the 2s going straight Rock Slide, and can win the 1s going straight Moonblast. My guess is that's assuming with Rock Throw too.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing with breakpoints and bulk points. It's not reliable. I mean, it is
Mhm.
reliable in a sense, but it can always change at a minute's
Yeah.
notice, right?
I
So
think
is
with
it
Carbink
worth?
as well, it's like Carbink's whole thing is its bulk, and the
Yeah.
amount of like attack weight you need kind of like detracts from
Yes.
that
So
that kind of
much.
role. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a difficult one there.
Yeah, use PvPoke's matrix feature and see, and this is what I've been doing for different
Hmm.
card bank as well, is put in different IVs, right? Go for the breakpoint one, see what you gain. It shows what you gain, what you lose. And I
Hmm.
guarantee you're probably losing a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe not a ton because card bank just like super strong in general. But if you look at you sim, what I do is I sim the 0 shield situation, the 1 shield, the 2 shields,
Mhm.
and I sim like default IVs and then also rank ones,
Oh wow, you do
right?
better.
I
Yeah.
do. I do a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do a lot. Yo, y'all think Ryan Swag uses PV poke
Hey,
simulations? No, trust me. I mean, no hate on Ryan
Peng
Swag like
tips.
usual, but I am critical of his work a lot because I do it too, but
Uh,
in a different way, right? So anyway, I mean, if everyone wants to run breakpoint stuff, that's fine, but that is the risk you take, right? Because the moment they have an update,
mm,
moveset update, it can make all the breakpoints, bulk points obsolete that you've been building around.
true, true.
So like a lot of Axon's team that he had breakpoints, bulk points for, some of it is irrelevant. Like the spark,
I think the
like his
lantern,
lantern
yeah, the
one, yeah,
lantern's
it's
one
irrelevant.
of the main ones right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have the resources, whatever, go for it. It's just like
Yeah.
Carbink is a heavy XL Pokemon and it's expensive
Too
to make in
accessible,
general.
yeah.
Do you really want to spend multiple resources making multiple Carbink?
Mhm.
It's up to you, right? It's a personal choice, but it's just something I try to caution people as they try to build around these things. Tristan also says, much love to Sweetie. Him joining on as a co-host is what got me into the podcast. He and Caleb had a great dynamic and did a great job together, in my opinion. And the beard bet will probably go down as one of the top highlights of all time for this podcast. Wishing Speedy the best. He'll be missed. I'm bummed to see Speedy go, but I think Anicor is a great replacement. Looking forward to him hopefully making the bets more competitive. And speaking of bets, it will be fun to see you guys do some play Pokemon related bets. I'd love to see a competition for the most CP gained during the play season now to Worlds, and another competition for the highest win rate in regional special events ICs this season. That's
Ooh,
actually a good one.
that is
Okay,
interesting. That is
Okay,
interesting.
so the CP one is a little bit tough
Yeah.
because a few things. Um, I mean, I guess like we're both in regions where there's a lot of tournaments, but if you move back to Australia, there's less.
Yeah.
The other thing is also I have local events, so I could
Hmm.
get some CP from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, here's a question for you:
Yeah. Mm.
because you're between like London and Australia this year, what is your CP based off of? Like, what's your
Yeah.
thing?
Okay. So do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So mine is still UK. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because you registered
think
and stuff. Yeah.
I was thinking of changing it to Australia.
I mean, I
but
get it. I get it. Right?
but I
Trying to
think
game the
like I
system.
don't know if I've missed the window. Yeah, I'm just assuming I've missed the window because it's the start of the season. That I'm not sure if I'm
uh,
going to try it. And then the other thing is that like low key, I'll most likely be going to more European events than I will Australian events because I'm going to go to two Australian events.
Two
But
out of their three, that's pretty good.
yeah. Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
expect them to have a fourth.
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like they can't drop Sydney. But
Right.
yeah, 2 out of 3 is pretty good to be honest. But then like I come back to London in March, and like March to was it basically June? There's usually
Mhm.
a lot of events on, and then there's also EUIC as well.
Right.
So the chances of me going to like one or two European regionals probably kind of high. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like okay, I'm assuming, like I said, that I'm past the deadline because the season's already started. But I haven't made my mind up if I'm going to try or not to like make myself
Mm,
Australian or not. But I'm
okay.
thinking for now, probably not. But it has been on
Yeah.
my mind. Yeah,
Yeah. And do you still have an address in Australia? Because you
I do.
probably need
Yeah.
one. Oh, you
So
do?
there's
Okay.
the thing. I've got an address. I've got like a mobile number. I've got a bank account. So I've got like everything necessary. So it's
Mm,
not really like finessing as opposed to I don't know
yeah.
choosing a
Choosing an easier region.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good
and
region.
the thing is, I don't know if I like the idea of it being an easier route as well, because I don't know. It
Well,
goes back to what you were saying, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like, well, do you really deserve to go to Worlds if you qualify like the easy way?
yeah. Well, now that you don't know if you like the idea. Now that there's over 1,000 people listening, it's gonna judge you too, right? So,
Right,
this is
next
not a
time you see me on stream, I
little
got the
home
little
kept secret
Australian flag.
anymore. Yeah, yeah. Start adopting the Australian accent now instead.
Yeah, yeah. Crikey.
In our last episode, with accent, DH Khan says, "Lag got a buff this season. My mom just sits there and takes damage." Anyway, in terms of accessibility, a potential new player can maybe benefit from his community, from this community. Oh, sorry, this community. Yeah, I think that's what he meant. They
Mhm.
can ask to receive mons like Medi, Bassi, etc. from some veterans. It gives them a start. I also noticed, as Axon mentioned, PvPers have relatively low catches, like 100,000. As example, he seems to be the exception, but this shows he can still qualify without whale resources. The PvE whales have no interest in tournaments, so they won't be gatekeeping. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with PvP, right? Especially in Great League. I think for Ultra League, Master League, that's a whole different story. But
Mhm.
for Great League, even the most expensive investments like I don't know, Azumarill, Lickitung, Bastion, I mean, they're not. There's only a few of these, right? Sableye,
Yeah,
Metacham. Like you're not gonna run you're very rarely going to run a team of 6 fully XL Pokemon. In fact,
yeah,
like it might not be a good team if you are right. You're on like Wobbuffet and Pachirisu. Like it's like, what are you gonna do with that, right? You're worse off. A lot of these Pokemon aren't XL based, I guess Carping and stuff, but a lot of the good teams, like they're just standard Pokemon level like
yeah,
15, 20, whatever it is, right? 30 even. So it's pretty accessible. And even if you have to make a few XL Pokemon, for someone that plays the game, like if you have 50,000 catches, you can make a Metacham, right? As
yeah,
long as you have the Metacham to swap for the candies and stuff like that. Like the resources to make it's expensive to make your one Metacham, but once you're done, like you're using
yeah.
it for years to come.
It's true.
So yeah, I think catching and resources for the most part is not a huge limiting factor as long as you're like a consistent player,
Mhm.
right? It is a factor, it is a limiting factor if you're trying to start playing a tournament next week and you just started your account a week
Yeah,
ago, right? So that is a definitely issue. But overall, yeah, you don't really need that many. There are definitely a lot of PvP players though that are huge grinders on top of it. Like a mind joke, when I battled him, this was like 2 years ago, maybe more than 2 years ago. He had over 1,000,000 catches back then. It was like
wow.
2 years ago. So yeah, so he's definitely on the grind, or he was close to
Yeah.
1,000,000.
I think
Uh,
before like I don't know if it's like strictly before regionals, but probably before regionals started, he was definitely
yeah,
very uh like one of the heavy grinders, do you know what I mean?
yeah, he was, but he
Um
was also a grinder of Sylph. Like he did a lot of Sylph
did he
tournaments
do
too.
self?
So yeah, that's how
I
I
don't know.
first battled
Okay.
him. That's how I met him. It was
Right.
it was Sylph had this thing. I forgot what the terminology was called, but every month they would pull in the top ranked players in the
Oh,
world to
was it
do a
like the
tournament.
showdown or something?
Showdown, yeah, the showdown.
Yeah,
They had a
yeah,
monthly showdown. That's when I faced him. And so that's
yeah.
when I knew. I was like, this guy's not just like he doesn't just casually play in Sylph.
Yeah.
He's one of the highest ranked players in the world in
Mm,
Sylph because I battled him. I was like, whoa. I just remember thinking, I was like, wait, this guy is something. And I remember I mentioned in a group chat, and Clash and Cliff, who's also a big grinder that also PPs, responding. He's like, oh yeah, Mind Joke's a big grinder. Yeah, he's
yeah.
definitely he's really good at PvP too. I was like, yeah, I know. I just battled him. So speaking of grinders, I mean, I didn't say I'm a big grinder, but I got some catches. Take a guess how many catches I have, Anicor.
Oh, bro,
From
do you know what the thing
ballpark.
is though? Is I don't know. Okay, 1 million catches is a lot. You're saying,
Yeah, yeah,
and a
yeah. It
hundred
is. It
thousand
is.
is not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's still a lot for
I'm
some people.
I'm gonna say 600,000, just based on that
Oh,
scale. But
okay.
I have no sort of like
Oh,
gauge of like,
oh.
you
Now I
know,
feel bad. That's actually more than I
does it go to dollar?
have. No, I have 452,000.
That's pretty close
It's
to
not bad. I had
600,000.
400,000 on April 1st this year. So
Okay,
I caught
so
I caught a
52,000.
decent.
I guess that
So I
is
caught
like
over
quite a lot.
50K in about 5 months.
Wait, I kind of
Yeah.
want to know what I'm on now.
Yeah, I mean, you took a little break. I never took a break. I'm just not. I've never been like the biggest
Let's
grinder,
ignore that
but I
now.
will grind during events if
Yeah,
need to, right? And I just been consistently playing. So,
yeah.
um, and obviously traveling for a lot of these events for work helps too because there's all this
Mhm.
stuff now.
Monkey
So
King.
yeah, yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of that is Pampor.
yeah.
Rich
Wait, quick,
Rank
quick ting, quick
says,
ting.
huh?
I did a clap just for like a signal because I want to adjust my mic.
Oh,
So
oh, oh,
yeah,
no,
so
you're
I'm
good.
assuming you can like cut that out because it's
Nah, I'm just gonna leave it. It's fine.
Bruv.
It's fine. This is good content.
Alright,
This is
well.
not like you can't just pause a podcast by clapping. Like, what is
Hey,
this?
well,
Like,
yeah, yeah. The clap is so you know where to cut it,
no, no, no. It's not worth the time. I'm leaving this in.
bruv.
I'm leaving
Okay,
this in.
well, there you go.
Yeah, feel free to clap in the future. This is not like a sound like lamp when you walk in and like the lights turn on and off, right?
I thought
You
you'd
just
look at
think
like.
it is. No, no. I mean, I
Alright,
can,
well,
but it's
okay.
like, it's
Yeah, well.
no. I'm leaving it in.
Oh, this tink
Rich
keeps.
Rank says, calling in now, Mankey Community Day for October with Annihilate being introduced. That'd be dope. I'd love to see that, right?
Well,
And I
we're
think
literally in the
Annihilate
middle of
sims like pretty
Mankey.
low.
Or I'm in the middle of. Oh, okay, I just missed it. Mankey Spotlight Hour.
Spotlight hour.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that'd be sick though.
But
Annihilate.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think the spotlight hour wouldn't rule that out. Even if it's not October, man, Rich Frank, now you got me excited because I hope that's a thing for not even October, for the future, right? Sometime, even if it's not October, because Annihilate would definitely, I think, shake up the meta quite a bit.
Mm,
It has win conditions against Metacham. I think it beats
yeah.
Metacham straight up.
Well, it's a
So
ghost
that
type.
has a
Ghost fighting.
ghost fighting,
Yeah,
ghost
yeah.
fighting. So it could be the new fighter of choice.
Mm,
Potentially. I don't know. Metacham's still really strong. But having another fighter that hard checks Metacham and
mm.
is still relevant can really throw things off.
It's quite big.
Because then
Yeah.
now you might be like, what's the reason to run Metacham now that you have Annihilate, right?
Yeah. True.
I mean,
True.
Annihilate is more frail though than Metacham, so that in itself could make things a little bit
Mm.
more interesting.
Also, I feel like a good ghost type is just always nice for the meta because it's like a very flexible typing. Do you know what I mean? In it, it's
Mm-hmm.
like a. It's not necessarily. It never feels like two RPS. Do you know what I mean? In it, but
Yeah.
it's got like a nice
Because it's
amount of
not super, they're
resistances.
not usually very bulky
Yeah.
either. So Tristan says, or Toisel, either way, whatever you want to call him, says, surprised none of you went with Shadow Venusaur, so I'll go with that. If Gligar is the main flyer, that's pretty nice for Venusaur, to be honest. I think he was talking about
The
maybe predictions for the new meta.
yeah,
Yeah.
what will be most dominant in the top cut? I
Right,
guess.
right, right, in Top Cut. Actually, so, spoiler, there was a decent amount of Venusaur.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as far as accessibility goes, I think that big move updates can actually help in that regard if done correctly. Large, focused, and impactful moveset updates can help create more diversity in viable mons, which can help accessibility. If we had a meta team where meta where Toxicroak, Vigoroth, etc. were all equally viable to Metacham, that would help accessibility because newer players would have other options rather than needing a Metacham or a Deoxys defense to be competitive.
Hmm.
Yeah, true. And Deoxys defense is arguably less accessible than Metacham because if they're not
Yeah.
raids, you can't really get them for anything.
Can't trade them either. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. But yeah, that does it for our comments. And speaking of the meta changes, we can discuss what we saw in this recent regional
Hmm.
and see how that actually looked. Oh, so before we get into that, the Stardust bet. So we had a Stardust bet going on, right? Most Stardust gain from Ultra Unlock day 1 until the end, right? The 5 days. So myself and maybe you too, I was thinking 4 times dust, 4 times XP catch for 5 days. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm at Pittsburgh at the regional. I'm chatting with I think I was chatting with DeFi and Gabby that morning, the second day. right? Because we had, dude, our call time was early, early. I had to be up and ready
Why
to
was the
leave,
second day so
dressing.
early?
I don't know, but it's not going to be that early in the future. I
Okay,
think,
because
yeah,
yeah, that
probably
was
good for
really
you all
strange.
because it's
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. It was nice.
it's
I
like
got to bed on time.
early. Yeah, you don't have to stay
Yeah,
up late or anything. But
yeah,
for the West Coast, this stream started at 5:30 in the morning. If you're on
yeah.
the West
What?
Coast, like you're waking up at if you're lucky, you wake up when the grand finals are happening, right? But maybe you oversleep the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know why it was so early. But it's gonna it was also an East Coast tournament, so it's going to
Right.
be earlier in general.
Yeah,
But usually we don't start that early. Anyway, yeah,
yeah.
like I said, bomb ass early morning time, which means that we had to wake up even earlier. I had to be dressed and ready to go at 6:50 in the morning, right?
Oof.
Yeah, I know.
6:50.
But me thinking, oh, well, the event ends at 10 a.m. If any time for a regional to start this early, I need to be awake for it. This is the best one. I could grind some more Stardust for a few more hours, right? Before and win this bet against Anicor. But right when it's about to hit 10, or maybe early that morning, we're talking, and Gabby's like, no, no, no. We get 5 more days of quadruple Stardust. I'm like, what? I'm like, no way, right? That's wild to me. Like, I was not expecting that. Did you expect that? I didn't know that was happening.
Nah, I didn't expect it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't see the info
Yeah,
on that because I think it was released when I was traveling or whatever. But
yeah,
so I was like, wait, one, that's incredible, right? Because we get even more Stardust. And two, we can extend the bet if we need to. And I know you're traveling for a bit, and I was obviously traveling.
yeah.
So like part of like I feel like both of us are not very confident in how much dust we gained.
Yeah. Do you know what the thing is? I was also like,
And you're
when
probably
you
scared
asked
of the
me,
regional buff.
yeah, I was like, first
Pretty
I was like,
good.
okay, well, regional buff is an issue because what was it? They gave 100 extra on top. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was still
So
four
yeah.
times, but just and would it have been 400 extra because of the four times?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
You're
okay,
right.
okay. Maybe it was
So
a good
let's
thing
say
I did
if
this.
it's let's say if it was like a meta type that spawn, right? No weather boost, 100
Yeah.
dust usually. You add 100 on top of that, so 200 dust. And then multiply that by 4, that
Yeah,
is
that's too
800
much, bro.
dust.
That's too much.
And then 800 dust, and then you throw on the star piece, 1200
Yeah,
dust for each
that's
meta type
mad
catch.
for just a normal
1200
item.
dust, 1200 dust is the minimum.
Mad.
Now you throw on weather boost, you throw on second stage evolution,
Nah, that's too
like a
much. That's too
Bailey
much. Yeah,
spawning.
yeah, yeah. I think
Pretty
I made the
good.
right choice because I was thinking, yeah, you messaged me like a day before, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose this bet," yeah, and I'd been like low key, not grinding, yeah, but I'd been like,
Well,
I
you hit
got
me
back
up
to
on some smack
London,
talk in my
like,
DMs for sure after the first or second day.
yeah,
And here's the problem for me, right? And this is why I wasn't feeling confident because
uh,
anyone in my position, you'd be thinking, oh, Caleb got this, right? Here's
yeah,
the
yeah,
problem. The first 3 days of that Ultra Unlock, I didn't play. Like I played GBL, but I was just at home because you know what I was doing?
uh,
I was making my video about El Che.
oh, okay,
I don't know
yeah,
if you
yeah,
saw
yeah,
that video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw it. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you like it? Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Anyone
yeah,
that doesn't know, hit me up on YouTube, right? YouTube.com/Peng. One of my most recent videos. I spent a ton of time on that. Like, I kid you not, I was like, because storyboarding for it was something,
yeah.
but then I had to find all the clips and line up the clips to make sense and everything. And Twitch was trolling me real hard the night I was editing because I couldn't clip anything. Like, their soft, like, Twitch was like glitching out. So you couldn't make any clips. So you know what I do? I pull up the VODs on my phone and I'm screen recording. So I'm like
Yo,
rewatching parts that I'm trying to screen to
that is
do. So I'm
long.
screen recording it, then saving the screen record and up like dropping it down into my laptop to edit rather than just clipping it, downloading, and just putting it into my video, right? So and it was not as precise. So I literally had to rewatch what I wanted to do in real time and then do it. Yeah. So anyway, it took a long time. Is what I'm saying. Like I finished that video at like when I released it, I finished at 7 a.m. that morning. Like
Whoa.
I did not. I was
What,
not.
you were up all night?
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of League of Legends. That's a little break.
Okay,
But then I,
okay.
after I played League of Legends with my friends, I went back and just worked on it until like
Mad.
the sun was rising. I was like, I want to get this out, man. Like I'm on a
Yeah,
roll. I'm really feeling it.
in the
But I just need
zone.
to edit this stuff. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so one of the big reasons why I didn't play much. I didn't play the
Mhm.
Spotlight Hour, which I should have. It was Whoopers. It was weather boosted. I didn't play it. I should have. I don't know what I was thinking. Right. And all this stuff. So literally I start playing like pretty much start catching for the first time on like the third day and I'm flying around like the country doing it. So I'm not really playing that much. and so I'm really only playing that Saturday and a little bit of Sunday morning for that event. So I
Yeah,
know
I
you
should have
thought you
ended it
got
there,
some.
man. I should have ended it there.
But then
That would have
I
been
asked
mine,
Anicor, I'm
bro.
like, "Hey, would you be down to extend it?" He said, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." But you did ask for me to take a screenshot just to see what could have
Yeah,
been,
yeah, because
right?
I'm
So I did do that.
curious. Yeah, so
Yeah, I took it
one,
like 30 minutes late, but like it was I took it
yeah, it
like
should be,
10:30 instead of 10.
yeah,
Yeah, which is
basically the
not a big
same. Yeah,
difference.
I'm curious. Yeah, like
Like who would have
when we
won?
finally
Yeah.
get to the end. Yeah, let's see if that was the right decision or not.
Hmm.
It's like when I mean, I don't even do this in it, yeah, but like if you're like betting on a sports game, yeah, and you have
Yeah.
the option to cash in early,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what that feels
Yeah.
like. It's
That
like,
was it.
oh, was it
It
worth
was like
cashing in
deal or
early,
no
or
deal.
should
You had
I?
the option to take
Yeah,
out some extra money, but now you're
yeah.
yeah.
We'll see. We'll
I
see.
will say out of the Go casters,
Mhm.
actually I should say out of all the casters, 'cause I feel like the other casters I play, they don't play as much as me.
Mhm.
So it's myself, Mark Son, DeFi, and Butters. I got by far the most amount of dust out of the others. However, out of compared to the others, I have the most catches and stuff, and I'm the one that prioritizes catching in general. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm
but
also
yeah.
like low key hoping like there was this one time in Japan where I was trying to compare steps in the month,
Hmm.
and you just had like none, bro. Like there was not there was nothing going on. So I'm kind of hoping that that's like a trend, It just house spawns not doing it, not going outside.
Yeah, there's I
Pokemon
have like no house
stay,
spawns.
you
I
know.
have two Pokestops now. I used to have
Oh
one. I have
yeah, I
two
saw you
now.
got a new one, innit?
Yeah, but I didn't get any spawns off of it. I get
Uh,
like one spawn maybe if I'm lucky. So there's a bunch of spawns maybe a little bit away from where I live,
mhm.
and there was a time period maybe for like a few weeks where I was for some reason my GPS just drifted on top of that. I was just
Oh,
sitting
lit.
permanently. So I'll be like spinning like
Lit.
two additional stops, and I had all these spawns all the time. And it's not the thing anymore. I don't know why. It was like actually my GPS because when I try to call like a Uber or Lyft,
Yeah.
the the location would be far like it wouldn't be where I'm living. I'm like, wait, what is going on with my GPS? Yeah. But it's because I live in like a taller building, so that does
Right.
influence that. Actually, a lot of my kilometers, I was just sitting at home and I'm just like running back and forth because of like the
Oh, just the drift.
because of
Yeah.
GPS. Yeah, the drift.
Yeah.
Like I'll hatch like a 10-kilometer egg like in a couple
Overnight.
days sitting here. Yeah, not moving.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah. So
But 10 kilometers for a couple of days is still pretty low.
not
So
bad. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
happy about that.
So yeah, I kind of go like in and out. It's like I either like barely catch anything or I
Mhm.
like catch a ton, right? If I'm working. So, speaking of Pittsburgh and the Stardust
Mm.
bets, before we can get into it, the moment I arrive, let me tell you, the spawns this year are wild. It's not no Panpour, Pansage, Panseer. Shout out to Niantic. Credit where credit is due. These spawns are lit. And if you need
Amazing,
XL Pokemon for PvP, this is the spot. You got
bro.
Meditite, you got Chinchou, you got Shieldon. Yo, who won't have a Bastion for Catch Cup? That's what I'm saying. Or Carbon. You have a
Oh,
Bastion,
true,
Carbon Core
true.
all day. Carbon spawning a ton.
Wait. Carbinks are spawning
Carbon Core
at the
spawning.
regionals. Oh my
Guess
days.
how many? All right, so I have a Carbon that I haven't even traded yet.
Uh
I
huh.
have like 40 plus that I haven't traded. Guess how many Carbink XLs I have currently?
I don't know, like 350.
No, 777.
What?
I tell you,
What
yeah,
the hell,
yeah. There's Carbink spawning at these events, like all over
bro?
the place. You got Shieldon, you got Lickitung everywhere.
Mad.
Yeah. You got some other ones that aren't as meta relevant at the
Yeah,
moment that used to be good in PvP, like Swablu. Like, yeah, no one's really using Altar anymore, but it's still nice to
yeah.
have for
But
like,
this is
if you just
nice. All
start
the
PvP, like
main XL candidates as well.
yeah, for Ultra League if you want an Altar.
No. As in
Fletchling.
like the other
Yeah, the
spawns.
other ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
But technically, you could use it for. I mean, Chinchou
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Ultra League Lantern could be nice in some limited cups.
True.
For Ultra League, I mean, Lantern's like my MVP and still factions for sure in
Mm.
Ultra League. For like a cheap pick. Fletchling as well, so you could run
Yeah.
Talonflame. Not that great in Great League, but still pretty good in Ultra League. And
Hmm.
again, you need XLs for it. They got Meryl, right? So you can make
Yeah,
XL
XL
Azumarill.
Zumo.
They got some other stuff. Scraggy. Oh my
Yeah, that's
gosh,
nice. And
my
again,
Scraggy
decent for
candy
Ultra League.
is through the roof. I never even like evolved for it. I got a Great League rank 5 Scraggy because they're spawning wild, so nice IV spread.
Lit.
I have 831 Scraggy XL candy. And I've already
Uh,
made an Ultra League Scrafty. Like this is like
what's Scraggy's moveset? Was it like sucker punch or something?
so. Oh, Scraggy.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
Scraggy.
know. I actually have a rank 1 Scraggy actually for Great League too. So Feint Attack, Brick
Hey,
Break is
you
what I
know
have on it
what? It
right now.
maxes
But
above 1500.
okay.
Faint attack buff soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Wish
brick
for
break.
Pink. It could only be so good because
It can
Umbreon
only be
has
so
it.
good.
So yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I might be missing some other stuff, but really solid
Yeah.
spawns. So you're not going to Barcelona, right?
Nah, I'm not, unfortunately. No,
Okay.
no.
But once you go to your first tournament, you'll see.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah, that sounds
It's
amazing, bro.
it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so on top of that, you get extra Stardust. You get 3 special trades at the venue.
That is amazing. That is
Yeah.
okay.
Right?
Do you know what? Yeah, I have to
There's no
say,
special trade event right now, right?
yeah.
But like if it was stacked with community day, okay, you get like 1 extra special
Mhm.
trade, stuff like that. But now you get guaranteed 3 special trades at the venue. Yo,
And this is where
confirm.
you want to do them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Shout out again to Niantic. I took a screenshot of all the benefits, so let me just make sure I didn't miss any. But those
Uh-huh.
are yeah. So the bonus is 100 additional Stardust per catch, right? So
Mhm.
essentially double dust, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you catch like all Dino, it's not going to be double of that. It's just
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
plus on top of that, but still pretty good. Essentially double dust. 3 hour lures, right? Amazing.
Mhm.
So you don't have to drop lures. Event themed Pokemon track to the standard lure module. So that's all the Pokemon like
Yeah.
that I mentioned. Uh, event exclusive time research.
What's that?
That one. So that was also big too. You know how we talked about how Dancing Rob had Galarian Sunfish
Yeah.
research
Yeah.
for his Pokemon. The event exclusive time research now for every, I believe for every regional you show up
Uh-huh.
to, you get 6 Pokemon. All 6 are Accent's Worlds team.
Yo.
Straight up, you catching the Swampert, a Lantern, a
Sick.
Metacham. You know, it's not his IVs. It's not like a
Yeah.
Shadow
Yeah.
Swampert with Hydrokin and stuff like that. But you at least get the Pokemon, right?
It's a nice step.
A,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, a Alolan Sandslash. And even if you don't need those Pokemon, extra
Yeah.
dust, right? The Sableye, I got Sableye from it. Yo, that Sableye was worth a ton of dust. Quadruple plus 100
Love it.
plus the star piece. If only Sableye was spawning everywhere, I would have been just rich,
I
right? With
think it's good
dust.
that it wasn't spawning everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 3 special trades per day.
Amazing.
Huge update for
Yeah.
that. I tweet about it too. We'll talk more about that later in our T segment because it was, let me tell you, it was people get into it on other topics. But anyway, so that's what to expect at regionals. Again, a huge shout out to Niantic for making these changes. It just made it so much fun. I mean, honestly, I'm speaking for me because I know I'll be at a lot of these regionals, but for a lot of those
Mhm.
frequent flyers at regionals, I'm betting in a year from now, a couple months from now, I'm gonna be sick of Carbink. Who's not gonna have like a million Carbink XL candy because they're gonna be everywhere, right? Um,
Mm.
but again, it's still better than the monkeys,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, because that just
and
felt like so irrelevant.
yeah.
And even from a sort of perspective of like, oh, well, let's put a regional into the
Hmm.
thing. They were spawning for like an event everywhere, so it was
Yeah.
like it
People didn't
just
really
wasn't
need
even
it. Yeah,
special anyway. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think this is a huge step forward.
Hmm. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's good though because most people don't go to this many tournaments. So what
Mhm.
I tell some of my locals is, hey, I'm at Pittsburgh. You need some carbing. I'll come back with some carbing for you, right? For those
Mhm.
that still need carbing.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
need Lickitung XL candy. I'll say some high CP Lickitung for you,
Mhm.
and Shieldon, etc. I mean, I used to save Shieldon, Lickitung to trade to people to get the extra XL. I don't even like what do I need it for? Like I have an Ultra League
Dash it.
Licky bill, that needs XL as a regular one bill. Like you don't really need it anymore. But it's really nice, especially for
Mhm.
those that like maybe spectating for the first time or you attend your first tournament, you don't really have stuff.
Yeah.
Yo, after that tournament, you're
Mhm.
gonna have stuff, right? You're gonna
Also,
have it.
think about the players from other games who see
Exactly.
go on the stage, open up the
That's the
game, boom.
biggest. Yeah, there's a lot of players actually that have gotten into Go tournaments and have attended because they were maybe judges for the other
Mhm.
games, or maybe a judge for Go, but they just don't play it, or they're helping out with some of the stuff, or
Yeah,
they play VGC or TCG. But if you play Pokemon Go, you're gonna be catching at the venue anywhere. It's all
yeah,
these
yeah,
spawn stuff. Why wouldn't you? And because
yeah.
of that, you get all this stuff, right? Yeah. So anyway, I want to say just that part before we get into Pittsburgh recap. But Pittsburgh,
Hmm.
Well, wild. I want to hear your thoughts as a spectator. What did you think of the meta and the tournament and everything like that?
Okay, so um, I guess let's start with the meta, right? So
Yeah.
we, we had the discussion last week about
Uh huh.
what things we were expecting, and I think I kind of, I think Axon said this as well, where it was like, the you'd think of building a team for the new meta, and it does seem like a few of the same Pokemon. But one thing I did feel like is that with the move changes and things like that, it opened up the meta a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally, I think people are always going to complain regardless of what the meta is. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think you just, I think some people don't really understand what a healthy meta should be. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think in their opinion, it should be like, no two Pokemon are the same anywhere. Yeah, and
Yeah.
like that's also just as unhealthy as every single team is exactly the same. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought this meta had like you know it was looking good going into it. One thing I want to bring up is Inadequate did a practice tournament a few days before the
Yep.
start of Pittsburgh, and he put up some usage stats, and he had Medicham, Licky, Lantern, and Registeel as the top four
Mm-hmm.
usage, with Gligar, Sableye, Swampert, and A Slash as like the next four.
Mm-hmm.
So just judging from that, obviously, no Noctowl, no Flyers, um,
Besides
no,
Gligar.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Besides Gligar, but then Gligar's good because it's like, you know, it's got the double ice weakness, but then also got the really good coverage, making it,
Mm-hmm.
not too like hard countering anything, but still
Yeah.
having like a nice amount of coverage. And honestly, I was not disappointed. When they put that the first graphic of the general meta for the whole tournament, it was super surprising because I mean, do you have that in front of you, or like do you
Uh. Yeah. So I have the top. I have the top three players, but I could do. Let me pull up actually the
the
top
top
12
12?
usage on day one. Right? You want to look at the day
Yeah,
one, not day
yeah,
two. Yeah.
because
So
that
let
was
me.
super interesting because you had some very similar themes to Inadequate's practice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you had Azumarill. Okay, so first of all, I want to say Azumarill and Alolan Ninetales. Yeah, nobody really talked about the fairies coming into the tournament, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
like they were bad in any sense. They just pretty much been left alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't been given any buffs, they hadn't been given any nerfs. So I guess it kind of made sense from a neutral standpoint that the fairies are still going to be good.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me take a
no
screenshot for
G-Fisk.
you, so I'll send it to you. Yeah, no Galarian Sunfish for good reason. Because if you've
No.
seen that in GBL, that earthquake looks like you could see the nerf. You can
Is
see the nerf. Yeah, I
oh
just pasted it to you.
man,
So the top 12. So top
yeah.
12 at Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Medicham at the top, obviously, 72%,
Hmm.
72.4%. Registeel second spot, 46%. So that's actually a big drop off between one and two.
Yeah,
Lickitung
yeah, yeah,
about 45%, Lantern about 43%, and then goes down from there. Gligar at 40%, so pretty high up. Zumos the fifth one, so it goes all the way down to 26%. So the top
yeah.
five have very high usage, like almost about half the players had those,
Yeah.
and then drops down from there. And then Alone Sandslash 23%, Swampert 23%, Umbreon 21%, Venusaur 20%, Alone Ninetales 17, and then Charizard 17%. Yeah, Charizard Alone Ninetales rounding it out. So and obviously these are including both shadow and non-shadow. So a lot of the
Mhm.
Gligar is like kind of mixed. And honestly, after this, I don't know. I feel like there's good pros and cons for both. Like I saw there
Yeah.
was a specific match I commentated with DeFi, and it was Shadow versus non-Shadow Gligar in the mirror matchup in the lead,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
and
Yeah.
it was even. It literally
Yeah.
came down to a 1 HP difference, and that honestly
Yeah.
could just be a IV difference of the specific Shadow versus non-Shadow, not
But I guess
even
that
the
would
Shadow
happen like
versus.
if it's a shadow non-shadow mirror match, right?
I guess so. I mean, does
But
that
I think
happen in all Shadow non-Shadow mirror
I'm pretty
matchups?
sure, yeah, because they're all like 20% more or 20% less,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
guess it
essentially
does
a mirror
even out.
match. But I'd say that
I'm trying to imagine
the
like a Charizard
shadow,
versus non. Yeah, I guess that does make
yeah,
sense.
it should just pretty much be even in it.
I think the
But
thing is Gligar's moves also don't hit super hard, so like letting
mhm,
a move go from Shadow non-Shadow is not a big deal. Like
yeah,
letting a
true.
Shadow Blast Burn go on Charizard is a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
different,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
But I'd
yeah,
say like most likely we may have a situation like Shadow Swampert where either the shadow or the non-shadow is preferred based on
a
a
specific
specific
matchup.
matchup in the current meta. Yeah.
But it looks like
Um,
there isn't any very specific matchups too, which is
okay.
nice because Dig doesn't one-shot Lantern on either variants,
Right.
right? I think there is a break point though with the Shadow Gligar against
Yeah. Yeah.
Lantern that could make a difference, but again, yeah, and Dig is not enough to one-shot Registeel either, right?
Hmm.
Regards to Shadow, non-Shadow. So I think it's not as clear as Swampert was last season, where
Right.
Swampert needed the Shadow version to beat Noctowl. We
Hmm.
saw a few non-Shadow Swampert in Worlds because people were expecting more Charizard than Noctowl, which I thought was a
Hmm.
really good
Yeah.
adjustment.
Makes sense.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought the meta was really cool. It doesn't look
Yeah.
super different at the top, but it actually
Yeah.
felt a lot less RPS in my opinion.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think this is a really important thing for people to recognize, and I don't know. I was thinking about this before, right? Is it a case that maybe some people aren't too familiar with maybe the meta, how metas develop in other games, which is the reason why they have certain opinions on when a meta is bad and when a meta is good. Because again, like from time I saw people complaining about the Walrein meta, and then
It
three
was so
months later
good.
being like, "Yo, that was the best meta we ever had." Yeah.
Yeah.
From time I heard that, yeah, I was like, you know what, yeah, you can't take everyone's opinions for face value,
Uh-huh.
Um,
I
and
think
I
they
think
want to like flip everything on its head, right? But
yeah,
like
but that's
that's
also
not
not
that's not
viable.
good either because
Yeah.
like as much as I dislike Trevenant and like Noctowl Lantern, when they nerf Trevenant, it's nowhere to be seen, right? You
Yeah.
can't even run Trevenant anymore. It's like the nerf was too big,
Too
right? It
much,
wasn't
yeah.
like a little adjustment, right? It was to the point where it's unusable.
Hmm.
Like Galarian Stunfisk is pretty much unusable right now, right? Compared to a lot of the other med picks. Like
Hmm.
it's just like it just loses in
Do you
so many
think
more
with GFIS,
situations.
because obviously I haven't actually used GFISC in Great League yet or like
Yeah.
seen it,
Oh,
but do
I've
you
seen
think
it just on the
GFISC
other end.
is it like a enough of a nerf? Because I'm thinking like obviously GFISC is not highly used at the moment, but it could potentially rotate in with a specific meta direction. So
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe if
It
like
barely was used
Charizards
last
become
season because of the Trevenant nerf and
yeah.
Medicham just being better, right? So
Hmm.
that you need Registeel to counter it. So the fact that it wasn't used a lot last season and then now
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
it's kind of troll to use it in my opinion. It's just like it's
Fair,
so much
fair.
weaker. And then you got Gligar as well, right? As the flyer choice.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I
you
guess
don't
that
like
doesn't help.
what are you
Yeah.
using GFIS to beat? Like Charizard, the occasional Charizard? Like what else does it even
Yeah,
beat
well,
at
I
this
mean,
point?
if
Right?
Charizard becomes like a bit more of a mainstay,
Staple,
then I
yeah.
guess it's a bit more preferable than Reggie.
Yeah. I don't think it
Um,
will though, because Gligar
uh,
is so safe and strong.
mm,
I don't think it's like Charizard's necessarily a lot worse than Gligar. I mean, it's not worse than the head to head,
yeah,
but it's just that the coverage Gligar gives is so much
yeah,
safer
yeah.
than Charizard.
And I think that's that. The Gligar is a huge addition because again, you have a flyer that can get beaten by the things it beats,
Yeah.
but also beats the things that maybe it shouldn't beat. Like it's such a good generalist. You know what I mean? It can still lose to Medicham,
Who
but
would
it
have
can beat
guessed
Medicham.
too? Yeah,
Huh?
imagine a year ago I said Gligar's gonna be meta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone
True.
been laughing. We're looking at Gligar, not Gliscor, just straight up
Yeah,
Gligar.
just Gligar, bro.
Wild.
Dig was appalling beforehand.
So
So
bad.
yeah, it just
It
shows.
cost more energy than Earthquake and did less damage.
Yeah,
Like that's how bad it was. Yeah.
absolutely terrible. But
It,
yeah,
it
I
feels
love the
yeah.
addition of Gligar because again,
Mhm.
I think another thing that you and DeFi were discussing on stream was the prevalence of like the Gligar Licky Core, and
Yeah, she termed it garlic.
I thought it was quite clever. Can't lie.
Yeah, it
We
was.
don't really like name cores in Go like they do in VGC, but because
Yeah.
they like name entire teams as well. Like little fun little
Yeah, we'll
names.
make it a thing. I'll drop garlic whenever I can.
Yeah. But something like that, like the Gligar Licky core isn't unbreakable because there's things like Mandibars or maybe certain other Pokemon
Hmm.
where they actually maybe even Umbreon to be honest, isn't it? Yeah, where they can break up
Yeah.
that core
Yeah.
and they're not niche Pokemon. They're Pokemon that are very valid in the meta. So
Yeah. Yeah.
having that ability to rotate the meta out like that, yeah, I think is amazing. We're going to see different shifts um, week by week, and I guess that's what everyone wants to see, whether they know
Powder
it or
Snow
not.
Alone Ninetales. That might be a core breaker for that too.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how Powder Snow Alone Ninetales actually pairs up against Lickitung, but I did see that matchup briefly. But
Hmm.
the Lickitung users swapped out right away because
Yeah.
they had better Alone Sand Slash counters
Well,
than
we
that.
saw some people using powder snow alone in sand slash as well.
Sorry, that's what. Yeah, that's what I
Oh
meant to say.
right,
Sorry, did
okay,
I say
yeah,
Ninetales? Yeah, sorry, I meant to
yeah,
say Sand. I've been doing that a lot. I messed that up a lot at Pittsburgh too. I kept saying Ninetales when I
okay.
meant to say Sand Slash. Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that
um,
was an interesting adjustment because I guess like I don't know strictly if it's like if it's the time for it. Do you know what I mean?
mhm.
But it's interesting that people made that change.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. It's yeah. Again, I agree with you. I think this meta is actually pretty good. Yeah, you see a lot of meta champion like GBL and stuff, and you're gonna see a lot in tournaments. But
Mhm.
it's honestly, of all the fighters you can pick from, it is the easiest one to play around in neutral matchups because you
Mhm.
are taking neutral from Snarl and foul play, and like you're taking super effective from lick damage from Licky. Like
Yeah,
if like Vigoroth was the Pokemon to play. Well, honestly, Lickitung is just so bulky that it could probably go toe to toe against a lot of the fighters, I should
yeah,
say.
yeah.
But
True.
if it resists like the dark damage stuff, like Umbreon has less play and stuff like that too, right? Like Umbreon's way worse into a lot of like Umbreon has no play into Machamp, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
one last resort gonna do a lot, but like those counters and cross chop, like you can't
yeah,
force
yeah.
a
No,
shield in zeros.
yeah,
Like you only get one last resort off, right? So so it's and again, match him without any like fighting charge moves that a lot of people most people don't run.
hmm
Registeel has play into it, right? You have to go for
yeah.
the psychic for the lantern matchup. What do you think too? Do you think Spark Lantern got nerfed after seeing this one?
Uh, I'd say yeah, maybe. I mean, again, it just plays a bit differently.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a nerf though, because again, it's not 100% efficient anymore.
Hmm.
It doesn't have that kind of pacing that would maybe give it favor over like the
Like a
Gligar
Swamper.
matchup a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and the Swampert, which is also a big thing. So it doesn't have that pacing, which I think gave it a bit of an advantage in the past season.
Hmm.
But it does have its upsides. Being able to like farm something down. Saw it like a decent amount as well.
Hmm.
With Sparks doing extra damage, having a bit of a better Reggie matchup without needing to use Water Gun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the rushing matchup, yeah, you still win the same shield scenarios, but I think the biggest benefit of the lantern, the spark change, is the Metacham matchup
Hmm.
because you just need more consistent damage. You don't need to like land a thunderbolt or something. You could just go
Right.
straight
Yeah.
surf and spark, right, and it still does pretty well. But I think it does hurt it in a lot of other matchups, like even Gligar as an example, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, the spark doing a little bit more, but still resisted, and
Yeah.
you need to get to the surf as soon as possible, right? And so it need to take longer for that. I think though it's still very strong, and you
Yeah.
can see it
Yeah. Yeah.
from the
For sure.
results. I think it's still a busted Pokemon,
Hmm.
and I like that Spark still has play because you need it for the mirror match, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's still a decision making on whether Spark or not, and the fact that Gligar is the meta flyer of choice actually makes the meta really interesting because you have
Hmm.
more people defaulting, more reasons to go Water Gun Lantern.
Right. Yeah.
The more reason you have to go to Water Gun Lantern, the more viable Spark Lantern is, which
Exactly. Yeah.
creates this weird dynamic of like 50% of people are using Spark,
Hmm.
50% are using Water Gun, which makes it interesting because it makes the matchups less boring, right? Imagine if everyone's running Spark or everyone's running Water Gun, then it's like
Yeah.
whoever had more energy is going to win this, right? Or
Yeah.
whoever could
True.
bait
True.
properly, right? Uh, but we were able to see that dynamic play out quite a bit, which is kind of cool in this tournament. So yeah, not a lot of mana buzz. We saw like I
Yeah.
think Rise Arrow and Doombug had
Yeah,
Mana Buzz, if I recall, maybe a few others, but
and they
not a
went for a
ton in.
similar like approach to what you were saying with like Snarl and
Arrow had
Dark
Shadow
Pulse
Ball
as well.
Mana Buzz.
Yeah, yeah, okay, well, yeah, the other
There
two
is
were
some
good.
justification for it because Mana Buzz gets a little tricky into Metacham in the ones and twos, and
Yeah,
landing a Shadow Ball actually could be a difference maker there. But I don't
yeah. I see.
know.
I was wondering with
At first, I was like, "What is he
because
doing this for card bank, right?" But
yeah,
you're just still going to lose the card bank, right?
it's
But
true. It's
I
true.
think it makes
Yeah,
sense if he had a plan for Metacham. I didn't ask him specifically why, but
yeah. I'm wondering if the Medicham, like because of the Medicham matchup, that potentially Air Slash might be the better option, but I don't know if
it's
that
just
like.
yeah. I
Do
feel
you know what
like
I mean?
you
Because
end up
it's
giving
still.
away like some matchups against like Gligar and stuff, right? And
What do
Lantern
you
even then.
lose the Gligar matchup with Air Slash? I imagine you still win it because it's like
Let me
just
check.
doing wing attacks and aerial aces doesn't sound.
Yeah, Arrow is still not as efficient as like Dark Pulse or Foul Play
Yeah,
though. But all right. So you want to do Shadow Gligar?
shadow, non-shadow, either. I
All
think
right.
I
I'll
feel
just
like
do
both
like
of them would
default
probably lose.
IVs. Yeah. So with the Dark Pulse, Aerial Ace, Snarl. So you win all the evens, obviously.
Right? Yeah.
The Zero Shield is still kind of close, but you. Oh, whoops.
Hmm.
Um, Air Slash.
Obviously, air slash foul
Wait,
play.
why is Air Slash better?
Yeah, because it's just like I guess a bit more fast attack pressure.
Oh, maybe Air Slash is the play.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Like, obviously, you probably.
You're really weak into what do you call it, Reggie, I guess.
Yeah,
But I guess
that's
you're not really
like I guess
winning
the
that
main
matchup.
issue.
Yeah, the
You probably have
pace
no
and
play
then
into Reggie.
Lantern. Okay,
Yeah,
here's one I'm curious about: Swampert.
I
You
feel
lose the
like you.
ones
Okay.
with Air Slash.
Okay.
With Snarl, you win the ones and you win the 0-1. So you could go out of shield deficit and still win. That's a pretty big one, though.
Hmm.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, yeah, I
What's
guess so.
another
Yeah, yeah.
neutralish matchup? I want to say Charizard. We gotta go Shadow
Charizard,
Charizard,
I
I
feel
guess.
like you could probably get some advantage out of it due to being able to farm it down. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously like assuming there's baits and everything. Charizard, you
yeah,
lose the twos with Snarl, but you win the ones and zeros.
okay,
Yeah, it's the same for Air Slash. Yeah,
yeah,
there might be slight differences in terms of
yeah,
the things, but overall, it's still better.
yeah. But yeah, just having this,
Yeah.
again, having the options, and you know, actually having this dilemma of like, well, which one do I think is better for my
Mhm.
team? I think is really healthy for team building.
Yeah, I think so too. So that was day one.
Mm-hmm.
To maybe no surprise, Wdage went undefeated day one, didn't drop a single battle.
Rev,
Um,
this guy.
he completely owned Arrow once again. I think that's the third time in a row. He beat Arrow in NAIC, he beat Arrow at Worlds, and now he beat him at Pittsburgh.
Man.
But I mean, it's not. I'm not even making fun of Arrow. Wdage is really good. Like I think,
Yeah,
I
Wdage is
think,
just too good.
I honestly think like if anyone had a chance to battle Wdage 3 times like in a row in tournaments, it's a very similar outcome.
Yeah. Didn't
The
Nighttime
date,
Clasher play him like twice in a row or something? And
yeah,
lost both
Nighttime
of them as
Clasher,
well.
yeah, Nighttime Clasher faced him twice too. Once at
Yeah.
NAIC and once, and he took a, I think he took a game off of
I
Wdage
think
in
he
both
took.
sets.
Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty impressive.
Okay, so Nighttime Clasher, like the guy's great and stuff, but he definitely trolled games 2 and 3. He didn't spend both his shields in game 2, and then he didn't spend both his shields in game 3. He didn't use 4 shields in the last 2 games combined. Like,
Yeah.
tell me that's not troll.
Yeah, he's saving him for next
Nighttime
scrim
Clasher is
then,
great
though.
though. He's definitely I think I saw Z's Wise post on Twitter that like most improved player of the last
Yeah,
season, and I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I think he
yeah.
like here's the thing too. He was running Togedemaru and like making top cut.
Bruv, that's
He finally
ridiculous.
drops Togedemaru and he's like on winner's side, right? Of
Yeah,
top cut. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
impressive. He beat Magic Mason too on
Hmm.
day one. Like that's not easy, right? Yeah, he did end up losing to Wdage and then Anshuman Horrors, but one of the funniest moments, I don't know if you saw this, when he faced off against Anshuman Horrors caught a Thunderbolt on his lantern. From his lantern, from
Uh-huh.
Nighttime Clasher's lantern. Nighttime
Did
Clasher
he
was
just
running a
reverse
water gun
patch? Yeah.
lantern.
Okay,
He just caught it. He was probably going to win that anyway because he
yeah.
had a Quagsire for the Lantern and the Alolan Sandslash, but he catches a Thunderbolt and stone cold face, right? Andrew Harris, no reaction. Nighttime Classroom, when he sees it, he's like, yeah, his mouth just, for those that are listening, right? Audio version, I'm making mimicking him. His mouth just straight up open, like what? What? Like he, like you can see, like I feel like if you look closely at his mouth, you can see his soul leave his body, right?
But
Like
do you
that's
know
how
what?
it looked.
Do you know what the thing is? Because I remember seeing that, yeah, and there was like there was one fast move. Okay, I was very confused at this, yeah, because he
Okay.
made the catch, yeah.
Yeah.
Nighttime Clasher pressed the button, and he
Yeah.
pressed it with the confidence of it being a surf, yeah. Because there was also a nice amount of time in between the catch where I was like,
Oh,
that
I thought it
wasn't
was
an
instant.
instantaneous catch, yeah.
I thought it
And
was. Oh, I don't
it
know.
seemed like, and I'm not saying he mistakenly threw the Thunderbolt, but I like, I feel like half of his like shock was that like, oh damn, that wasn't a surf. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, I feel like
I don't
there
know.
was a
I
nice
might need
amount
to
of time in
rewatch
between.
that. I thought it was. I thought it was instant. I thought it was instantaneous, but he was just shocked that he's catching it on a resisted
Yeah,
ground
I
type.
mean, being able to catch with the water gun
A
as
water
well, that
gun.
was
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
That's
he was probably,
insane.
again, he was probably gonna lose that battle anyway because he had a full health
Yeah, yeah.
Quagsire for a Lantern and a lone Sand Slash. Like it was just no way. But yeah, that was because I remember thinking Thunderbolt made sense for the previous Pokemon that he was
Yeah,
facing, which is
yeah,
why
yeah.
like it wasn't like Surf was the right
Yeah,
play
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But it seemed like he had enough time to react. And I think he was maybe shocked that he didn't react, or like, I don't know, it seemed like a almost like a Rise Shadow Ball moment where he just forgot
Oh,
what side his move was on.
I don't think
But
that's the case, but you know what? Now that you're saying this, as we talk about this more, I'm gonna
mm,
find that clip and
yeah, there's
see.
literally like a second in between the catch
Yeah,
and the thing.
yeah,
But
but
while you're looking at that, day
uh-huh.
two
Mhm.
now, day two, what was the word? Day two meta
Yeah,
was very interesting because
was
as we said earlier, Medicham was the most used in day one. Medicham was also the most used in day two, so not really
mhm,
surprising. 7 out of 8 teams had Medicham.
right.
7 out of 8 teams also had Lickitung. So
Mhm,
the Medicham Lickitung core strong again. And honestly, I don't know your opinion on this, yeah, but you know, I personally thought the Walrein meta was good because it didn't feel too,
RPS.
yeah, like, yeah,
Mhm,
Walrein was on most teams. Walrein was very strong, but it had counterplay. You were, rewarded for good energy management, good shield management. You could take advantage of these kind of advantages
mhm,
and, you know, like succeed in the game. That was also roughly around the last time, I guess maybe one season after that, also when the Medi Licky core was like super strong
mhm,
until Noctowl came into the fray. So I don't
right.
know if the Medilicky core is a sign of a good meta, but personally I think so. They're not Pokemon that are going to hard win particular matchups. Do you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
they have that neutrality about them. That's just my opinion. Um,
Sorry, I'm also seeing the clip, so it's
oh,
funny. Yeah, yeah. No, I will respond to that though.
uh,
I do agree with you. I think like they're both like really bulky Pokemon,
mhm.
but they're not bulky and also hit super hard on top of
Right,
it, right?
exactly.
It's like there's trade-offs, which I guess most Pokemon are like that to a degree,
Mhm.
right? But um but again, that's why I was saying like they're kind of easier to play around,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah,
Licky doesn't hard beat anything.
right, right.
Like yeah, if you get it into like I don't know, like a Trevenant or
Trevenant or
something, but
something.
Trevenant's
Yeah,
not really around, right?
yeah,
Like even Sableye can do a decent amount of
yeah.
damage
Sable,
back.
I
A
can flip it.
Frostlass
Yeah,
can beat a Licky in zero
yeah,
shields, right? Because
yeah.
Avalanche just hits so hard that the Lick can Power Whip damage. Well, Power just takes
Mhm.
it forever to get to with Lick. It doesn't. It's not that good. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it is a much healthier meta. Noctowl was a way worse meta in my opinion because of how polarizing it was, right?
Mhm.
Completely hard walled by Lantern, but it just hard walls Licky and Sableye, right? Trevenants, stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just there's no way you could flip that matchup,
Yeah.
which is the tough part. Whereas Gligar, you're taking neutral from Bison. Like I don't even know. I think Lickitung probably has the advantage there, but it's not super
Possibly.
clear, right? You land a
Exactly.
dig, you
Yeah.
know it's a shadow version. It's not like the health isn't the same. You just couldn't get past the Lickitung. You couldn't get past the Noctowl with Lickitung no matter what. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
Sableye. Like Safe Saw Sableye just gets completely shut down. There's like, and you could play around it because they shield. You just shield and you're
Yeah.
fine, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just match shields. Like there's no like, oh, I land this move now, I could shadow call you down. You can't, right? So that was
Mm-hmm.
the tough part with Noctowl. Whereas this current meta, I think, is much better in that regard. So, um, yeah. So okay, I will send this over to you so you can see it. It starts at 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 50 seconds from the Twitch VOD from day number
Oh,
two.
you're sending me a
For
Twitch.
anyone, yeah, for anyone that's curious about what we're talking about from timestamp for the Pittsburgh pre-show. Here, I'll send it to you so you can see it. It should go straight to it.
Okay.
But this looks like to me, Nighttime Clasher was going for the Thunderbolt because he overfarms too. Like the timing is really weird. He literally overfarms it and throws the Thunderbolt at his face. It's so funny. And Andrew Mahars doesn't even blink. Like the guy, what a savage. Oh man. Everyone chats.
Okay,
Huh.
maybe it's just the stream delay, yeah. But do you not
Yeah.
see like when he throws the move? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more
Because he was
sense.
tapping, he was reaching for it too,
Yeah,
right? He thought it
I
was
just
there.
realized he couldn't see the other side of the screen, so he didn't know what he
Yeah.
was throwing it on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there was a bit of a gap, and yeah, that's
Yeah. Wait. I'm trying to see why does he make the face? Because he must see the Quagsire come up,
no,
right?
no.
Because he
So
didn't see the Quagsire come in.
he doesn't see the Quagsire come in because when you, I think he doesn't see the
Yeah.
Quagsire
Okay.
come
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like it's a perfect catch. It's a perfect
yeah,
catch from
yeah,
Andrew
yeah, yeah,
because he doesn't see the Quagsire come in because he's already
yeah.
pressing the charge move. It
And
says
he's doing
ready.
the Thunderbolt
It sees
animation,
ready.
and
He's
he's
like,
like,
all calm, and then he sees the words
he's like,
Quagsire. He's like,
yeah.
what? What?
Oh man. Oh.
And then the juxtaposition of Andrew just sitting there like, no big deal. No big deal. I got
Uh,
this. Oh my gosh. What is pure content.
oh man.
Shout out to Andrew too, man. I mean, this guy was playing great all weekend.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
for real.
all the top 8 players too, right? But
Yeah.
Andrew, like, because we didn't really see too much of him last season, despite his
Yeah, I
second place
think he
finish at
came relatively
NAIC.
close. Like he topped, I think he topped a tournament last season. I
He
don't
topped
remember which,
Mexico
but
City qualifier,
yeah.
but I think that was
So
it.
came
Because
close, but
but he had some rough patches too. I think he went 0-2 in Toronto.
hmm,
He uh I don't know how he did in San Diego, but I know he did top cut there. I did see
right.
him San Diego. I think he was at a few other ones. I think he was at NAIC maybe.
Hmm.
Like he definitely traveled to a lot of these. Oh, he was at Portland too. I think.
Okay.
And he didn't top cut there.
Yeah.
His teammate, what's his name? Shoot, the guy that got second to King in Indy.
Iomera?
Iomero, yeah. Iomero got top cut at Portland, but I
Mm.
just remember Andrew. He wasn't. I don't think he played. I don't know. I didn't really see his battle, so I don't even know. But I just know that he probably wasn't performing to
Right.
the level
Yeah.
he wanted. So it's good to see him come back and stuff and just
Hmm.
do really well. And one of the few, actually the only I think Alone's Ninetales in top
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was a very interesting pick, like regardless, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, one of the
Yeah.
only Alolan Ninetales in top cut.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. But yeah, let's
Gligar,
talk about the top three. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 out of 8 Gligar with
Mm-hmm.
4 of them being Shadow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's, I guess, already an interesting part. 5 Lantern, 5 out of 8 Lantern, 5 out of 8
Mm-hmm.
Registeel, 3 Venusaur. So this is one thing that we didn't mention is the grass types coming back. And I guess, to be honest, this goes in nicely to the top 3 teams because
Mm-hmm.
the usage of grass types Yeah, what's or do you want to go through the top three teams? And then,
Well, yeah. I mean, well, no, we can talk about. Let's talk about the grass types now that you're on it.
yeah. So obviously Venusaur was the thing that most people had their eye on, but bro, Superior, that is legit. I know people was bruv. I know people were calling Hot Pockets team a spicy team, yeah, but I don't know, man.
It
I
was a
think
spicy
that's a
team, but he played it really well.
yeah.
It was
Well,
like
I think
it was a very unique team.
it was a
Yeah,
unique team for sure, but I
it
don't.
was well thought out.
Yeah, I don't know if people will be calling it spicy in like 1 or 2 months time.
Do you think people are going to copy it? Because I feel
I,
like his team, like
mhm.
it's not easy to run. You can't just like I don't know. I think yeah, it was interesting.
I think okay. So two of the picks particularly, Superior
Superior
and
was kind
Diggersby.
of killer.
Bro, Superior was doing the bit, like it was doing bits,
Yeah.
and it kind of like fixes the issue that Venu has, right? So there's not really any good options for grass types, because obviously Trev is dead, so your best option is generally
Yeah.
going to be Venusaur, right?
Uh-huh.
Chestnut is a bit too well with all the Gligar. Chestnut is not ideal,
Just not good. Yeah.
so
Anyone trying
ban
to make
that.
chestnut work,
Yeah,
it's never
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Whoever won tournaments with chestnut, like,
Yeah,
yo, you're a champ for, but
rated.
not because of chestnut. You're just cracked as a player.
So yeah, Chestnut's not in the conversation, but Venu, the main issue is it doesn't really have the bulk it wants to be
Mhm.
taking like the most advantage of,
I'm about to look
all
at
the
my
frenzy plants
superior
and
right
stuff.
now,
Yeah,
my
but
inventory.
Superior, bruv, frenzy plant were doing basically 50% of a Lickitung.
Yeah, but you could tank the moves much better.
Yeah, so it really, really fixes the issue Venu
Oh,
has,
I
and
got a good
Aerial Ace
superior I
now
could
is a
run too.
good move, like good coverage,
Maybe superior's to play.
bruv. I think it could be,
Maybe superior is. I don't know
Mhm.
what to drop him. I have a tentative team though, but I don't know what to drop. I'll think on it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
and
then
also
Diggersby.
with Gligar too around.
Yeah,
No one's
yeah,
running Mana
exactly.
Buzz, right?
Yeah,
So I mean,
and even against Mandibuzz, like obviously, you know, Aerial Ace is not like helping the matchup, yeah, but at least it hits neutral the same way as Sludge Bomb hits neutral. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like you're not necessarily losing as much because I don't know if Sludge Bomb, like a Shadow Sludge Bomb, two shots a Mandibuzz like it did in Noctowl. So I
mhm.
don't know if like you're really losing much compared to Venu in that sort of sense
Yeah,
against a Mandibuzz. So yeah.
it was yeah. That superior pick is definitely something to think about. In the top three, there was one steel type. Crazy. One seal type. I mean, obviously we saw Registeel number 2 usage, but 2 out of the top 3 didn't even have Registeel nor any seal type on their team.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that are wondering, so Hot Pockets team, third place finisher, Shadow Charizard, Medicham, Mantine, Superior, Lantern, and Diggersby. Was it a water gun Lantern?
Uh,
It makes sense potentially because you have Superior and Diggersby that can hard check the Spark Lantern
mm-hmm.
because you definitely need something to check the Lantern because you got both Charizard and Mantine.
Yeah, true, true.
But
Possibly, yeah.
that's you got two
I
checks,
can't
but you
remember.
end up being triple weak to Spark Lantern if you're running your own water gun lantern. I don't remember specifically though.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, yeah, but
I do remember the Mantine move set was Bubble Beam Aerial Ace.
mm-hmm.
So
No ice
that's
beam.
a very interesting move set, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit more consistent into Gligar
Mm-hmm.
because you just throw the bubble beam right away rather than like needing to land the ice beam. But
Mm-hmm. But I
I don't
imagine
know.
I imagine it's not a negative matchup against Gligar anyway because you could
Yeah,
probably go straight Ice Beam.
right.
But yeah, it's interesting because
He almost won it. He almost got into grand finals too.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
didn't shield. I don't know why he didn't shield. He didn't
Yeah,
shield like a
yeah,
foul play or something on his
yeah.
Diggersby, and then he just came
He
down to
went
like
down
counter
with two
range.
shields, right? Yeah.
Yeah, which honestly, probably for the best. Because imagine if you're Lyle Jeffs, you're up 2-0 in both the winners finals and
Yeah.
losers finals, and they get reverse swept back to back games. He
Both.
almost got
Yeah.
reverse swept by Pocket too.
I
That would have been
know.
heartbreaking. I don't know if I
I
could take it.
know. Uh,
Yeah.
so Lao Jeff's team, honestly, probably the most. Actually, no. His
No
team also
seal.
has a decent amount of variation because of the Umbreon.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a
Yeah.
double bulk of Umbreon and Lickitung. He ran like
Mhm.
Umbreon, Lickitung, Gligar in like so many of his games. A
Yeah.
lot of times in different orders too.
Hmm.
but and it worked.
Yeah,
It worked
yeah,
until you faced a Shadow Dragonite. He had nothing that resisted
yeah,
Dragon Breath
yeah,
damage, but
yeah.
it
So
worked.
interestingly, okay, now I'm wondering when as soon as I saw Wadage's team, I was like, I recognize that team from somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
or you recognize it from.
PJCS qualifier Kakuza Toho ran the exact same team, but instead of Lantern, instead of Dugong, he had Azumarill.
Really?
Um, and it was the exact same team in terms of like, obviously DD, non-Shadow Swamper, and Shadow Dragonite. And
The
he ran
Dugong
it
was
he
good
ran it
too.
in PJCS and Worlds. Um, and
Ah.
I'm wondering, I'm not saying from him directly, but I'm wondering how much influence there was behind Wadage's choices from his experience at Worlds,
Hmm.
because that was where he was playing against players who were using Deoxys, who were
Yeah.
using Shadow Dragonite, when previously we've never really seen them in our meta. So
Right.
I thought those were really interesting picks, and he made them look insane.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about how Gligar is like the meta now, but there's only
Mm-hmm.
one Gligar in top three.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are four flyers there: a Mantine, a Charizard, and Dragonite being the other three, and
Mm-hmm.
Gligar was only. Yeah, it was the top three teams. The variety was insane.
Yeah,
15 out of the 18 were unique picks, which means that there were 15 unique picks and only three that overlap, which is just crazy to me. I mean, like, when's the last time we saw a meta that diverse
yeah.
right off
True,
the
true,
bat? I don't
true.
know. So
Yeah,
it was wild, but you know, Wadash, man's on a tear. I don't know
just
what to
doing
say.
Wadage things.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like, I mean, Accent's run at Worlds, don't get me wrong, really impressive. His
Mm-hmm.
consistency, really impressive. But the consistency of Wadash in the past couple months, since like what, May,
Yeah, it's been insane, man.
it's wild. Cause like, yeah, Accent's made top cut and so many things. But Wadash has
Wadage
been
is winning them.
averaging third place or higher, and most of the time
Bro,
higher.
it's so
Well, not most
mad.
time, every
Yeah,
time higher, except for that one third place finish.
yeah,
First at Hartford, NAIC, third at Worlds, first at Sylph Worlds. Crazy, right? That's
yeah,
nuts. That's the biggest grassroots tournament, right? Ever.
yeah.
And then you got first in Pittsburgh. Like that is,
It's actually insane.
yeah, and he didn't drop a single set. He almost did.
Yeah.
He came back. I thought he was about to lose that third game against Lyle. Like there
What,
was
in the
that
final?
time in the winners
In the
finals.
winners' final. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before when he had a reverse sweep.
yeah,
Because he
yeah, yeah,
brought in like a DD into his Lickitung for some reason. I actually don't know why. Maybe he's trying to catch a
yeah.
move,
Oh, and
but
it
like
was just
it,
about like,
yeah, but it ended up giving
yeah.
Lyle more edge at Lickitung. I'm like, and I'm thinking like, oh well, now you debuff the Dragonite, it's over, right?
Mm,
And he made a clutch Dragon Claw bait to land a super power that knocked out the Lickitung, and then yeah,
mm.
it was something else.
Yeah, bro, he's
Something
insane.
else. I don't know what to say, but yeah, congrats to Wdage, who is our first qualifier for World Championships after
Hmm.
Axon, the first one to qualify through a tournament. With that now auto qualification. Well, it's still auto qualification for first place, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now it's that's the only spot,
Hmm.
and no cascading invites. And he said in that post interview, I'm going to collect as much championship points as possible in the world, right? I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
all
mean,
these tournaments. So, talk about gatekeeper at his finest. But hey, I personally think that's awesome because you up the competition at these tournaments
hmm.
and you need to earn your invite. There's no
Yeah,
freebie cascading invites, right?
yeah.
Last season, I think it's a little different story because that's the only way you could get it. But now you have
Mhm.
championship points. So it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
for people that are like, "Oh, you're already qualified. They should give other people a chance. Why are you going?" I'm like, no, like they're saving you the money and expenses to not go to the world championships if you can't beat them at a regional. If you can't
It's true,
like
yeah.
no hate because some people can't win world championships without winning regional. Like Dancy Rob, he didn't win a regional or anything, but he still won last year. He got third place at EUIC.
Yeah.
But like it is way harder to win worlds or do top cut at worlds or whatever than it is at a local tournament, local regional, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like the competition is through the roof. Some people they might just want to qualify for worlds just to qualify. For me personally, I don't understand that mindset a ton, but maybe I get where they're coming from. Like they could say like, "Hey, add it to a resume. Like I qualified for worlds. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
a little
guess you get the
flex.
additional
Like it's almost
validation
like
of
oh,
that.
like I got GBL post this season, right? I personally
Yeah.
never use a post, so like for me, like that's not much of a flex in my opinion. But I get it. I mean, it's not easy hitting legend and stuff, but it's
Mhm.
like you qualify for world championships, then what? Just to get
Yeah.
smacked around, right? Like I mean, I'm not saying like everyone that does qualify that will happen, but if you know like oh, I just farmed a bunch of easy locals and barely
Mm.
made it there, right? Like it's going to be a hard time. Anyone
Yeah.
could really okay. You know when people say anyone could win worlds, I actually disagree with that sentiment. No, it's not like if you look at the consistency of these top players, it's not a coincidence that Wdage won these tournaments or
Yeah,
Axon
for
or
sure.
whatever, right? Like it's not luck. It's not like a chance of a debuff. It's not calling
Mm.
just the leads. I mean, calling leads is a skill in itself, right? It's not RPS. Like how do you RPS your way to this, right? There's no way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
There's actually a clear skill difference between some of these players, and if you don't recognize that, you are not good enough.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Like if you
think
don't
that
recognize
that's
how much ahead some of these players are than you, or
mm.
maybe you're one of these players, you don't recognize the skill difference. Like it's just like I hate to say it, but you're just straight up delusional, right? Or
Yeah,
I shouldn't
yeah.
delusion. Delusion is a little offensive.
No,
I would
but
say
like obviously if you don't
ignorant to the
recognize it,
truth,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
If you don't recognize it, then you're just not at that level yet. Do you know what I
You're
mean?
not at
Innit?
the level.
You know,
Yeah.
because this is
If
like you
you
said,
think you
it's
have
not
a chance,
chance.
yeah, it's not. I mean, theoretically,
It's not luck.
is
It's
it
not
like
luck.
yeah,
You know.
it's not luck.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you could
It's
say
you
you
know
have
what?
a
It's a bit
chance,
like
but do you
poker,
really
isn't
have a
it?
chance?
Yeah. Poker is supposed to be like you know, it feels like it's supposed to be a lucky game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are people winning millions if it's based? Do you know what I mean? In it, there's obviously
Yeah,
elements of skill involved in it. Yeah.
100%.
You know, I can't recognize a skill personally, but it's just
Yeah, same.
I'm obviously not good enough. You know. And I think it's the same with this. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's no coincidence that someone
So
goes and wins. You know, 3 events back to back. Like
yeah,
it's no
it's
chance.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if you're offended, I'm sorry, but I'm
Then you
not
need to
really
get good,
sorry.
bruv.
I'm not really
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah,
if
you
you,
gotta
if
get good. You have to
yeah,
get
if you're
good.
offended, you need to get good. But you know
Yeah,
what?
like
Also, yeah, if you're offended, yeah,
you need to do some self reflection.
you need to do so. Yeah,
Or
hundred
prove
percent.
me wrong, right? Go to a tournament with Dodge and Axon and people like Lion
Yeah,
Hotpacker in or whatever, right? See what we can do. Let's throw in
yeah, man.
Scaffold, our best European as well, right? Go to these
Yeah,
tournaments,
yeah.
see what you
Let's
can
not
do,
forget.
right?
Let's not
Let's not
forget.
forget. Right.
Mm,
I mean the only person that really shocked, like it's like did crazy shockingly well
mm.
that like you don't see coming is someone like Elche.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
his tournament history makes no sense. Like how he did so well. It's actually kind of crazy. So the only thing I could think of is this guy is just way better than his tournament results because he only has 2 data points before.
yeah,
If he went to
yeah.
8 tournaments, was going like 2-2 in these tournaments, and then went
Mm.
like second place once, that
Do
would
you know
be
what?
incredible.
Someone
Like
mentioned
something
something
happened.
at
Yeah.
Worlds that I
Mhm.
thought was super interesting, and this is
Mhm.
not like a discredit to him. I think this is
Yeah.
actually even more a testament to how he thrived in the tournament environment, right? So they were basically saying that him having 5 Pokemon, he already knew he was on the back foot going into every single game, and so as a result, he was making riskier plays, yeah, or making like putting a bit more confidence into the plays that he was making because he knew that
Yeah.
he was
Nothing to
already at a
lose.
disadvantage. Yeah, he
Yeah.
he has to
He
do
thought he was
something
out
exceptional.
already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and honestly, I think that's a huge thing because you're on the biggest stage in the world. Yeah, if you're second guessing yourself slightly, your opponent is going to take advantage, and that's it. You know,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
just went in, didn't question himself at all. And
When
even
I was
like when
making
you were saying, like he said immediately when he was given the option to either use 5 Pokemon or take it, he made the decision immediately. Bro,
right.
I'd be sitting there thinking for about 5-10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Innit? Like how
This is
do you
why
like
you're
make
not
that? Yeah, so,
there.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. But yeah, I think being able to make that decision immediately, you obviously you like that conviction. He
I
yeah.
he definitely played like someone that had nothing to lose because
Mm.
he even wrote in his Twitter post thread that like in part of it, I didn't include this in my YouTube video, but he was like kind of losing motivation in game. You know, he
Right.
didn't do much prep. Like he was feeling, and that's partially he admits why he made that mistake on when
Mm.
registering his team. He was a little bit careless, right? He wasn't as focused on the game and etc. But the moment it started, he was like, all right, you know what? I'm here. I have 5 Pokemon. Let's just see what happens,
Yeah.
right? And like the plays he made were just so like the catch on the Blastburn from the Inadequates game.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't catch on the Blastburn
So
Energy, right?
mad.
He catches
On
on
the
the Psychic
CMP.
Energy,
Yeah.
but what if Inadequates just decided to throw one before the Psychic, right?
Yeah.
Or what if he threw right on the Blastburn, right? Like it's just like, but like the just to think that far ahead and make that
Mm.
play, like you don't need to, right? It's just
Yeah.
wild. It's
Mad.
wild. Yeah,
Again, like
he
the conviction to his decisions being like, nah,
uh-huh.
I know he's throwing at CMP and just
Yep.
mad.
Yep. But again, and then he faced off against Wdage, and you can see like there's just nothing he could do. Like
Hmm.
like Wdage, like we didn't include any of his plays from day one in the highlights for day two, like going into
Right.
we should have like a highlight section in the beginning of the show
Yeah.
for day two. We didn't include any because I remember I was thinking about it, I was like, he didn't do anything crazy because he just beat him so hard. Like he didn't have to make a crazy catch. He didn't do anything wild to win the games. He was so far ahead in all his games that like there's nothing he had to do. He
Mm.
just had to just play a good game, right? It's just like
Yeah.
his decision making throughout the series is so good. You don't have to like. That's why like I think the catches and stuff are really cool.
Hmm.
Like I made a really cool catch on Fresno and stuff. I'm like my 1 HP knocked out, but like looking back on it, I wish I didn't have to, right? I only did that
Yeah.
because I dug myself a hole into a situation where I
Hmm.
had to do that, right? Like I misplayed some of the mid game to the point where I need to make a crazy catch to come back.
Right.
If you play a better game, you don't need to do that in a lot of situations,
Yeah. It's true.
right?
It's true. Yeah.
So um
That's dominance right there,
that's dominance,
where
yeah.
your game is boring enough because you're just,
Yeah. You're just
you're
so
just
far
dominating.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like if you're playing basketball and someone's so good, they don't need to make a crazy like rebound shot or whatever or like like 360 no look shot to win, right? They're just ahead
yeah,
so much. Anyway,
yeah. Well, well
hopefully
done with Dodge.
yeah.
Honestly, really excited to see more of this season because yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot more coming up.
Yep. Exactly.
And
But that
this
was the first
weekend,
one. Mhm.
Barcelona as well. So
Barcelona coming up.
yeah, bro.
What do you think is going to happen in Barcelona? You think the meta's going to like stabilize?
Uh,
Because right now it's
two
the first one,
things.
so it could be a bunch of like wild cards, right?
Yeah. So I think two things. So one, I was also wondering how much the variation of Pittsburgh was due to it being the first regional, right?
Mhm.
The first regional, and in addition, I don't know to what extent this second point, but like there's no Sylph. Because there's no Sylph, like you can't really see the results of any practice tournaments. Maybe there weren't as many practice tournaments going on,
Mhm.
so people were really most likely practicing within their closed circles. So um, a lot of the information isn't as readily available. So I'm wondering how much the diversity was due to that.
Mhm.
Um, there's a possibility that it could be slightly less diverse because now people have a particular meta to base it on.
Mhm.
But then we also have to consider the fact that this is now Europe, and there
Right.
was always a difference in meta between NA and Europe. So I'm just really interested to see what direction they take it from these two factors. One, it being Europe, and one, them already having something to like base the meta on. So
Yeah.
I think it will still be open, but I think we'll probably see something. I think we'll probably see something we didn't see in Pittsburgh do well in Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how that plays out for sure. And for European players too, now a part of the official broadcast as well, which
Yeah,
is really
yeah,
cool.
that's
So
exciting. Yeah,
TBCI is spending the resources to make this official like stuff. So it'll be hosted on Pokemon Go's Twitch channel instead of Neuralkers
what more
and
do they get aside from that? Obviously, that's nice, but as in, like, do they get anything else?
they probably just get I don't know the specifics, right? Because I'm
Okay,
not like
yeah,
a part of that area, but my guess is they just get more additional support for production And
Nice.
because like like you still get the same prize pool as before, right? It's not
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
get
yeah.
more
True,
money,
true.
but having greater like resources for production stuff, and just having a spotlight on the official Pokemon Go channel is nice.
Yeah.
The downside, I mean, some people might not think it's downside, but I think some people will, is that you're hosting on the Pokemon Go channel, so the moderation is going to be different. You can't be just going off and like doing stuff, right?
Yeah, that's probably good
Another
though.
thing to talk to note is that there's certain things you just can't say on official broadcasts you could say on the
Right.
unofficial
Yeah,
ones,
yeah,
right? We're not going to go dive into IVs and stuff on official ones because
yeah.
IVs are not something that the Pokemon company really wants discussed, right? It's something that's
Mhm.
known, but it's not like that's why we say like, oh, if this trainer trained to attack more or something like that. We're not going to talk about
Mhm.
like, oh, this thing must have like a 15, 14, 14 stat or something like that, or like blah blah blah. Like if you had this, you're gonna have a break point. Like it's just like we're not able to do all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? So there's probably a little bit you have to be a little bit more formal, I guess is probably the best
Right.
word for that. You can't you're not supposed to make abbreviations, right? You're not saying like GFisk or A9 or
Mhm.
whatever, right? You have to say Galarian Sunfist, right? Alone Nine Tails. Pokemon are all plural. You can't say, oh, this guy. We have a lot of Regiseals this tournament. There's all
Wait,
Pokemon
as
already
opposed to what?
pluralized. You just had Regiseal.
Oh,
You
okay,
never
okay.
add
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
pluralization to Pokemon. You don't say
yeah,
there's a bunch of Pikachu's. It's just Pikachu.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So like, oh, in this tournament, lanterns look really strong. You would just say lantern, right? It's
Mhm.
small things, right? People don't really notice a lot of this from audience level, but from a brand, it's to keep the Pokemon brand consistent, which is
Right.
important
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this is a very big company and they want consistency, which I don't blame them for. So those are the things you might see small. I mean, for the most part, I think no one's going to really notice a lot of things,
Mhm.
a lot of differences. But yeah, and the casters for that I think is what Amanda, Lumberger, Inadequence,
Inadequates,
Lou,
Leonard
and
and Lou. Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's a really good.
is it Leonard? Is that how I would call him Leonard or
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Leonard.
Leonard? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Unless you've never read that name before, I'm pretty sure it's Leonard.
Well, I
Do
know, but
Leonards
like
not exist in the US?
no, no, they do, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just wasn't sure like
Oh,
if it's
right.
pronounced
Okay. Yeah,
differently,
yeah.
right? Like it's
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. I'm
like
pretty sure it's Leonard in it. But
oh.
now you got me questioning that as well. But well,
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be
we can
Leonardo or
cross
whatever.
that
I mean,
together.
because there's Leonards as well, right? And like,
Are there? Are there though?
are there? I don't know. Well,
I
what?
don't know.
Why do people call are called Leo? Like as
Like
short.
Leonardo. Like so that like I guess they're
Oh,
Italian,
oh,
right?
okay. I see what you're saying. So
Yeah.
there's Leonardo and Leonard, but there's no Leonard.
Yeah, yeah. I doubt there's
I don't
Leonard.
know,
Yeah,
Anacron. I
yeah.
feel like that. Like, there's no
I
way.
doubt
This
there's
got to be people in the
Leonard.
world. This
Come
got to
on,
be
like
people.
Leonard sounds like you're saying it wrong. I mean, you know what? I shouldn't say this because maybe he is Leonard, right?
He's
But
also is he German? He's German, right?
yeah, German. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, maybe the German pronunciation is different. I mean, I'll tune into the broadcast this weekend
yeah,
to
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I've
pretty sure
watched
it's
him
Leonard.
commentate in the past, but I really didn't like
Yeah, pay
keep track of
attention.
that. But then we have Lou as well, who
Yeah,
typically does VGC, but she's a great
my
commentator.
honestly, my
She's so
favorite commentator. Like, maybe
ever.
after you, after you.
I mean, no, no, no. Honestly, I
I
don't
get it,
want
I get it.
no
No, no, no.
sugarcoating, right? I want you to be
Honestly,
like, I want to be honest,
yeah,
right?
okay.
I'm not saying I'm the
Okay,
best
one of my
commentator.
favorite commentators, and I'm not going to rank commentators, yeah,
Well, you
but
better
she's
now.
definitely, oh, bro,
She up
just
there.
digging
Yeah,
myself a hole.
yeah,
No, she's definitely one of my favorite commentators because she doesn't have as much experience in the game as um, a lot of the other commentators, but you
yeah.
wouldn't know. You wouldn't
Wouldn't
know.
know.
She's like she just
She's
does,
a professional.
the whole thing flawlessly.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
for those that don't know, she's been a VGC commentator for years. Like I've seen
Hmm.
old broadcasts from her, like
Yeah.
2018 or whatever. I'm like, the quality of the stream looks lower, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she, I don't know since when, but she's been commentating like every VGC Worlds for like in recent
Hmm.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing commentator. And really cool person too. I met her a few times at some of these, but she goes every European international and worlds
Hmm.
and some of these big tournaments and stuff. I think she was at I can't remember if she was at OCIC or not. She might have been, but
Maybe
obviously
for
for VGC,
VGC, I
not
assume.
not for
Yeah.
Go, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see that she's, doing this. And that's how
Hmm.
I felt when I started working with Gabby as well. Is like you could tell she's a professional. She's been doing it for years. And even if she's not as familiar with Go mechanics and stuff, right? And obviously she is a lot more now than she was when she
Hmm.
started. You
Before.
could feel immediately you could feel the professionalism. And like this is something that people can't appreciate as much as a viewer. But when you're a colleague of theirs and you're working with them, the handoffs are just seamless. Like you could
Right.
like when you like I feel like I've never casted with Lou before. I feel confident if I were set up to cast with her at a tournament, it'd be fine. It'd be easy,
Yeah.
right? And it's not because of me. I mean, maybe partly because of me, but it's mostly because of her because she knows how to build that chemistry and like make it easy for her co-casters. And you
Hmm.
saw that actually at the first one of the first regionals broadcasted last year at Warsaw, where she
Yeah.
worked with
Yeah. Yeah.
Amandine and Bubelli.
Yeah.
And obviously it was like I don't know if it was their first. I think it was their first broadcast
It
too.
was. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but so they were obviously very nervous as well, and
Hmm.
they didn't know what to do, and they ran only with 3 people,
Hmm.
and Lou was definitely helping, make the process easy for them as much as possible. Like you could tell, right? So it was, yeah, I'm excited to see her in
Yeah.
action along with the other commentators
I'm
too.
also a fan of Inadequence's casting because
Hmm.
personally, I feel like he has a very like free and open demeanor, right?
Hmm.
But I'm wondering how this will translate into
With
now
the
an
official
official,
podcast.
yeah. Because that was one thing I was worried about. I was like, oh, but all the stuff that you're not allowed to do in in the official broadcast is kind of his
Well,
appeal, you know.
what is
Or at
he
least for
doing
me,
that?
it's his appeal, you know.
What do you think he's doing that can't be done in the official broadcast besides like talking
I
about
mean,
IDs?
I don't know if it's necessarily one thing, right? But it's like, you know, okay, to be real, yeah, like I don't. I don't think I would ever be picked for an official broadcast, right? Yeah, because I would
You
not be able to talk like this on an. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it just wouldn't happen,
you
right?
could to a degree. I feel like I don't
To a
know.
degree, but I'd have to. There'd have to be a lot of like, training for certain things. Yeah, I can't slip up on words. Yeah, I can't be like bomb. Do you know what I mean? Innit?
You
Yeah,
you
there's
could.
like,
It's okay because I slip up on words still right on the official
yeah,
podcast. I'm
no,
not
no,
gonna
no. But
fight
as in
with
like
you.
slip up on like
Are you gonna cuss?
exclamations, for example, right? You know,
What you gonna like cuss or something in the middle of a
yeah, yeah,
podcast?
or just like you know what I mean, innit? Yeah, like certain. I feel like certain
Oh, really?
exclamations may not be as well received on an official
I'm surprised you're
broadcast
saying
as
this because for me, I wouldn't expect that from you.
oh,
But
maybe I just don't do it here. Then I don't know. Yeah,
well, I mean, you don't do it on
yeah,
the
yeah,
podcast, so you're not like cussing
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like, so
True,
if you
true,
can't
true.
do
Yeah.
it, if you could be fine on a couple hours of a podcast, I feel like you're fine on hours on a stream,
Yeah,
right?
but imagine, bruv. Imagine when you're watching all the action go down. Yeah,
Yeah, or
someone
like
makes a
Andrew
mad
catches
catch,
a
yeah, and you want to
thunderbolt,
be
right? Be
like,
like,
"Bomb,
yo,
Vogler," you know.
now
Um,
I want to see it.
yeah,
Go on
busting
one
out
official
gun fingers
broadcast,
like,
even.
oh, just don't know if it run. And again, yeah, not saying obviously inadequates don't do any of that. Yeah, but as in like his mannerisms and stuff are like very free, where he probably can do the more formal style, but I feel like that detracts from his personality.
Mm,
Maybe he translates it, maybe he ends up translating it this weekend in a way that really brings out his personality at the same time. But
yeah,
it does seem like a I want to say a bit of a difficult thing to do. I guess Butters does it quite well, right? you know
yeah. But just
I don't want to say you do it quite well, yeah, and the reason being is because I think
I
you're
can't
way
I
more
can't roast
free
too
on
much.
podcast, yeah, as
Of
opposed to like
course, I don't want to seem
which is
well. So I think context is important, right? And I
right.
don't want to seem like I'm just like a bully, right?
Yeah.
I think like, but people know that if you listen to
Yeah,
podcasts, I'm
yeah,
not, or maybe
yeah,
they
yeah,
they do and they just hate listen. I don't know,
yeah, yeah.
but like that doesn't
So
come
proper.
across as because like the inside jokes and whatever
Mm.
are not translated well
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
on
Because you have
broadcast.
so many more people just watching without any
Yeah,
context. Yeah, yeah. But no, no,
yeah, and like
even
no
less so
no hate
that,
on
and just
like Phoebe or like Wholesome, but I
yeah.
remember they don't do this much as much anymore. But they used to do all these like little Twitch references when they commentate,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
I think it's great for their fans, but for people that
yeah.
are just tuning in, they're not gonna know what the heck they're talking about, right?
That
Like
is
when they
true. That is
commentate
true.
together, they
Yeah,
used to do all these like Twitch references and memes. I'm like
yeah,
these memes, like people like they subtly do it. They don't do like super like big, but they'll like reference like copy pastas and stuff in their
yeah.
commentary. But like if you're listening, you're just like, what are they talking about, right? Like you have to try to
That
like
is
in my
true. That is
opinion, I
true.
mean, this is my style. Maybe they don't care or they think it's better and maybe it is better. I don't know. But like I try to make it more generalized for the general audience to understand, because especially for bigger events, right? Like at
Yeah,
Worlds, dude, how many people at Worlds, like half of them are there for the Poke codes, right?
yeah,
But like they're not going to understand what the heck you're talking about, right?
yeah,
Some like Vaporeon references, like they're not going to know what the heck you're saying, right? So, um, so yeah, that's why I had to restrain.
yeah.
It's not about restraining
Which
myself.
makes
I'm just
sense,
trying to
though,
make
innit?
it,
Like, it's just a
yeah,
part of the job, right?
yeah, part of the job.
Yeah,
Butters is just kind of Butters because that's kind of how he is. I mean,
yeah,
he's a
yeah,
little
yeah.
more. I think he is a little more relaxed on his own streams a bit,
Uh,
but he definitely tries to bring the energy for the streams, which I do
yeah.
appreciate.
But also, I think his like on stream persona is like this really excited fan of the, and that's literally what he is. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it? You
Yeah,
know, so it's like very
yeah.
authentic.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, it is, and it isn't, right? Because I think he does play it up a little bit, but he's
mhm.
not like hates the meta, but pretends to sell it,
Mm.
right? He just
No,
like
no, yeah,
leans into it more. Because after
mm.
productions, me and him are chatting, we're just chill, right? He's not like
Yeah,
screaming up and down like while we're like in the Uber and like in the lobby of our hotel or getting dinner, right? Like he's like, we'll still have our banter and stuff, but it's a lot more. I think what people don't realize is what you see on camera is not what people are like
mm-hmm.
for pretty much anyone, right? Um, it just depends on how much it varies. So I am
Yeah,
curious. Now that you say that, I'm definitely going to kind of tune into Inadequate's broadcast or commentary a little bit more and see what that's like. Oh, before we
yeah.
go too far into Barcelona too and the rest of the stuff, we had a prediction last week on how many Carbink was going to be at
Oh
Top
yeah,
Cut,
bruv.
and Axel
Uh,
said one, you said two, I said three. I honestly didn't think it was going to be three. I think I wanted to say two, but I just wanted to be a little different, and it was
yeah,
a straight up a zero.
0, bruv. Not even in the top 12 Pokemon of
I
Pittsburgh,
saw
man.
one Carbink on stream that I commentated, but I don't think the guy even brought it.
Yeah,
They also had a Shadow
probably
Vic,
not.
so Shadow
Yeah.
Victory Belt. So
Well, I also think like if you look at the top 12, like none of this is really good for Carbink. Metacham, like obviously Carbink
you
can
could
win,
beat
but it's not
You
like
could beat it.
yeah, exactly. It's not like a hard win, right? So it's like I'd say a neutral matchup with the Metacham where you've got play on both sides.
Metro has a
Registeel,
shield
you just
though.
straight up lose. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but do you know what I mean? Innit? You're not like
yeah.
hard losing to it.
Look at yeah, play.
Lickitung again, you have play.
Lantern, yeah,
Lantern,
play. If it's not
you
water
have
gun,
play. Gligar,
you have
Azumarill,
play
Alolan
with
Sandslash,
Azuma. You
Swampert,
lose.
Umbreon. You obviously lose.
Or
Well,
you
no,
win. What do you
Azumarill.
mean?
I guess if you have a Hydro Pump, you have play.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
you're
think
sorry. You're talking
bulk
about from their
wise.
perspective. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh right, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He's kind of neutral with
Venusaur.
Azuma if they don't have Hydro Pump. Yeah,
Yeah,
Venusaur you just get hard walled. Well,
yeah.
not
So
even
there's
hard walled.
like
You
in
do
this
some
top
damage
12,
back.
there's what 2 or 3 Pokemon that you really are like super happy to see, and that's it.
Wait,
You know
let's look at the top three as a comparison. How about that
what
for the
top three
top three
teams?
performers? Yeah. So, for Wdage's team,
Mhm.
you beat the Dragonite. Dugon's
Mhm.
kind of weird depending if you're running Rock Throw or Tackle.
Right.
Deoxys defense, you might win.
I
But you're
feel
just
like you
doing no
probably do
damage.
win,
Yeah, you're doing
but
like no
again, it's
damage with Deoxys
probably
defense.
it might be on a similar sort of like neutral level to
Metacham,
Medicham.
yeah.
Yeah.
Swampert you lose, Red Steel you lose. Lickitung you're kind of neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe maybe it is kind of hard to run. I don't know.
Hot Pocket, Serperior is probably a good matchup. The
Superior,
two
yeah,
Flyers are obviously bad. Diggersby is probably really good.
really bad.
Lantern and
You hard
Medicham.
lose two, you hard win two, and then the
Yeah.
other two are neutral. So it's like
Yeah.
a gamble, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but like everyone's safe swapping, Umbreon.
Yeah.
You gotta or Lyle was so.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you
I
know
think
what
it
I
is
mean, innit?
tough.
It's like you've got 6 Pokemon, and if your opponent has, 2 hard checks for Carbink, are you really going to be picking that over one of
This
your
is
other 5?
Bastion over again.
Yeah,
It's like
well,
a
yeah, there you
softer
go.
Bastion. You have some.
Yeah,
I will say, I
Mhm.
think it's easier to run than Bastion because
Yeah,
Bastion
it
has like
seems
no
so.
play in the Metacham,
Yeah, yeah.
but it also doesn't hard win as much as Bastion does.
Mhm.
But I think I'm going to try it in Sacramento.
Hey, you do that, bro.
You laugh now.
You do
You
that,
laugh
man.
now. Hey, you know what's harder than qualifying for Worlds?
Uh,
Qualifying for Worlds with a Bastion or a Carbink. I'm just saying.
okay, okay.
People hate on how it's like no skill and stuff. You want to try it, right? You want to see if you have the skill to run it and qualify for Worlds with it,
True
because
that, true that.
people are too scared, right? They hate on it, but they're not willing to take
Yeah.
the deep dive themselves.
That is true. That is true.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this events for this remainder of this week because we're in Ultra Unlock right now. Ultra
Mm-hmm.
Unlock Part 2. And
Mm-hmm.
we have some other debut of Pokemon. We have
Duh.
Nimble, Lokix, Palmy, Palmo, Palmot. Obviously, the evolution line of that one. Fighting Electric, if I'm not mistaken. Bombirdier could be shiny in raids. I think Bombirdier is just in
Yeah.
raids. Bombirdier is like kind of like maybe like an arguably better Mana Buzz because that's
So
fly,
yeah,
big attack.
I didn't think of anything. I didn't think anything of it at first, but I think it
Mm,
was Tho who like pointed it out.
yeah, Shiny Hunter Ben was
With
the one that pointed me
wing
towards it.
attack,
Yeah,
fly, payback. So a really
yeah,
nice and interesting moveset. Is
yeah.
it the same
Fly is a
typing
really
as
good
Manbo?
move. Same typing, same typing. It
Is
has
it
more attack
okay?
though, and it has less defense and stamina. So it's
Right.
a lot less bulky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the head to head, you win the ones if they're running air slash.
Hmm.
Sorry, if they're running air slash mana buzz, you win the ones with Bombardier, but you lose the zeros and twos. If they're running snarl, you win the one and the two
Okay.
against mana buzz. Pretty
Mad.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just flying wing attack are just way better moves than air slash and area ace
Yeah.
or
Yeah. For
snarl
sure.
area ace.
I guess the trade off
So
there is the bulk. So I wonder
yeah.
how that will translate into some of the
Yeah,
other ones.
so this is what I was curious about too, right? Looking at this event, and then we got Frigibax, Arctibax, and Bax Caliber.
Yeah.
That's Steel Dragon, right? If I'm not
No.
mistaken.
No. Ice Dragon.
Ice Dragon. Okay,
Yeah. So
gotcha.
worst typing. They did not nerf Baxcalibur the like 9% or something like that. So I don't
Oh,
know if
okay.
it's as good in Master League, but
Great
Arctibax is
League.
quite interesting for
Yeah,
Great League.
it's ranked 58. Dragon Breath, Avalanche, Dragon Claw. You could technically run it in Barcelona because it'll
Yeah,
be enough
yeah,
time
yeah,
since
yeah.
the release. Um, And yeah, I mean, with the Dragon Ice type, you beat Venusaur really, really hard.
Mhm.
You beat
I think
Sable, I think.
in the current OGL meta, I feel like the Ice type is gonna hold it back.
Yeah, you lose to Medicham and Registeel. Like
Yeah,
it's just tough.
which is not great.
But you have some interesting hard wins. Like you beat Lantern, Swampert,
Mm.
Venusaur,
Yeah, true, true.
Sableye. Like it's interesting for sure. You don't does
Yeah.
this need to be XL? No, it's not. Okay, it's good.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, looking at the rankings for these new Paldean Pokemon, uh Oinkologne, the female version, is
Mm.
ranked 106, which is the second one. Why is the female version of Oinkologne ranked higher? I saw that in Ultra League as
They've got
well.
like different stats, the male version
Oh,
and the female
okay.
version. So the female
Yeah, the
version is
female.
bulkier.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think that's quite interesting because it's almost like a. It seems like a bit of a better Munchlax just because it's got. What's the second move again?
So the
Is it like
problem is it's
dig or
fast moves
something?
tackle, but it's got body slam and dig.
Yeah.
I think the tackle's
Well,
holding it back.
sometimes, like, obviously, again, probably not like strictly OGL, but for themed cups,
Mhm.
sometimes it would be the play to run tackle or Munchlax. So,
Yeah, that's
in those sorts
Trailblaze
of
too.
situations, maybe Oinclone is the wave.
Yeah, potentially.
I think it's a nice addition.
There's so many good, just like pure normal types, right? Like Lickitung and
Yeah.
stuff. So Bombardier only comes in at 160, and it kind of goes down from there. Like Baxcalibur is 167, same moveset as Arctibax, so you might as well just
Mhm.
run Arctibax instead.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then the rest of it, like Skelders, like 206, Quackable
Mhm.
230, like
But
Meowscarada
I've heard some people
357.
discussing Skeledirge for Ultra League. And as
Say
the resident Ultra
some.
League
Yeah.
expert, what's your opinion
Well,
on that?
I'll give you the breakdown. So Skelders
Uh,
is 125 on in Ultra League. It's not too bad.
right.
I've seen some people use it, but I don't think it's that good.
Fair
Like
enough.
I think
Yeah.
it's okay. Um, but yeah, I think there's just better options. It
Mhm.
does have interesting typing though. Was it Fire and Ghost? So
Yeah.
like a Chandelure.
So,
It's got Incinerate,
yeah,
Shadow Ball,
or
and
low
Disarming Voice.
Marowak.
Not
Yeah.
really decent coverage, I will say.
Yeah.
But Incinerate is just so easy to play around if you know how to optimize your
Mhm.
charge room timing. So against good players, it's really hard. Bombardier does move up quite a bit into 88 for Ultra League.
Okay.
So that's not too. I mean, it's not great, but it's not too bad. It is an
Mhm.
XL though at Ultra League. Rank 1 is a 0, 15, 14 at 46.5.
Right.
So
Bit
there's
difficult to
that.
get. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Do you know one mon that I'm like kind of curious about? And again, I don't know if this is necessarily going to do anything. Maybe
mhm,
it does need to wait until it's community day. But Quaquaval, yeah.
yeah, Quackball.
So water fighting, but with wing attack and relatively cheap charge moves. Basically, obviously, it's like super glassy, right? But
Hmm.
I'm wondering if it can play a similar role to Charizard. Not the same role as Charizard, but in terms of like being a really hard hitting attacker, which you just save a couple shields for.
Mm.
Getting a good farm down. Like wing attack is perfect for getting those farm downs. Close combat probably hits like a truck from it. And then I think it's got liquidation for now. Yeah, it's got liquidation for now, or area waste. But obviously, eventually, it will get hydro cannon as well. So
The wing
I
attack
think that's
is
super
nice.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, the
particularly
wing
for that
attack
wing
is
attack.
super
Yeah,
nice. I mean, because yeah, it's not flying type, which is wild. 'Cause it's a bird. Like
yeah,
you're gonna win like probably the head to head against Poliwrath if you had like a
mm,
slightly better move set, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah. Actually, let me. I'm just checking right now if you were to run against. No, you lose against Poliwrath right now because
Oh right. Oh, wait, why?
they're running Scald, Ice Punch, and you still lose. That's pretty bad.
What the
You have
hell?
no like neutral moves. You're not getting
Uh,
hit by a single neutral move. You're still losing.
Mad. Yeah,
But
maybe
the
it's just
typing
too
is
glassy.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Masquerada, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I love cats, but like
yeah,
dark grass, like it's just a shift tree, and shift tree's not been relevant for a while.
yeah. True,
So,
true.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing super amazing. I think what do you call it? Baxcalibur, Arctibax, whatever those
Mhm.
like evolution lines can be pretty good. Let's see, just match like real quick. I don't think Baxcalibur's all the way up to number 20 on
Oh,
Master.
that's decent
It's
considering
pretty good.
like the nerf. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What CP does it hit? 4,000? That's pretty high up there for
Mm,
a hundo. 4,013.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, Lucy Dialga, Metagross, Zacian, Dragonite, Lugia, like everything meta. But you beat Garchomp, you beat
Yeah.
Giratina Origin, you beat Excadrill. How
I
do you beat
guess it's
Extra? That's
another.
wild.
How does it
Beat
fare
Mewtwo.
compared to Curum? Because obviously they have the same typing. They also both have
Oh, good question.
Dragon Claw and Dragon
Yeah, that's the
Breath,
tough part. Kyurem's number
but
8.
Curum has Icy Wind.
You have
So maybe
Glaciate,
it's just you're probably
which
better
is
off with
better.
Curum. Yeah.
Yeah, you have Glaciate and
Oh,
Kyurem, which is
Glacier.
even better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe you're just
So
better off
Kyurem's
with
at number 8.
Curum.
So, like, it's
Yeah,
Baxcalibur's
yeah,
good, but, like, it's not. I mean, you can run, like, ABB, Ice Dragon, but
yeah. But bait out what, right?
why? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking Zygarde still number 1. That thing is disgusting,
Hey, mad
especially the Lugia
Zygarde.
nerf. Yeah, so that's that. But anyway, so for anyone that's relevant, for anyone that's looking for relevancy, I think just definitely get the Furture backs if you can, right? All those stuff's like
Mm.
nothing too
They're
crazy.
super rare. They're super rare.
Yeah, I haven't seen one at all, but yeah,
Yeah.
super rare. Bombardier, is pretty nice. I think Bombardier's only in
Only
raids.
raids, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a little unfortunate because it's hard to get the IVs you want. But again, it's not super relevant, so maybe you don't really need it because it's still on the frail side. But down the road, might be worth doing. Um, but yeah, so that's that. But the most important part, like we said earlier, is they're continuing the 4 times catch XP
Yeah,
and 4
exactly.
times Stardust. Uh, and
Big.
then yeah, and then a lot of golden lure, golden Pokestops without the golden lure module. Yeah, so huge, huge
Yeah.
for this event. I'm a big fan. So anyway, continue grind that Stardust. By the time you hear this episode, you only got like a day or 2 left, depending on where you are when you
Really?
listen
Oh,
to it.
okay. I thought it was me.
Yeah, I
Um.
think it ends. It ends local time Friday.
Okay. Okay. That's not too bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah. By the time people hear this, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's that. We'll skip the other stuff for now because we are running kind of long. But there's a Grubbin Community Day coming up 2 weeks from now, which it's nothing
Volt
crazy, but
switch, bit average.
yeah. Huh?
Nice for charger bug, I think. Volt switch.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything crazy
That's
though.
pretty much it.
Let me get an elo check. Where you at right now?
All right. Let's.
You talk a little smack, right? I got my elo review, which you can say what you want, but
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anyone post a higher elo review on Twitter yet.
So
2460.
okay, okay.
Have you seen anything high?
I don't know. I don't
In
know. I
fairness,
couldn't say
I
that.
also only got it recently, whereas some people got it last week. So
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
the elo starting for them is lower because the hidden elo of people they faced were lower,
yeah,
right? Because the season just started. So I'm not acting like I'm some hot shot, but I definitely been climbing with my team. I will say
yeah.
it's been
Okay.
disgusting. Yeah, let me
Do you
hear your elo
wanna
first
do you wanna give
before.
us okay,
Well, let me hear your elo
okay.
first before. I mean, I'm happy to share it if you're like in the pits, right? So,
Alright,
so I'm
so
like, no big deal. You ain't gonna catch up.
I'm still 2 days away from Elo. I'll
Oh
be,
my
I'll be
gosh.
honest. I'm still too, bruv. I literally
All
did
this
not even
smack
play while I
talk.
was in Japan. Yeah, 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 yeah. For a reason, though.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
Okay.
was commentating this week. I was working. I barely played
Yeah,
too. I did play
I
some
didn't
actually,
play
so I
while
was
I was
like, I
in
need to get
Japan,
some
so I
extra
like missed a
dust.
week.
Yeah.
But considering I missed a week, yeah, I'm only 2 days away from Elo. Yeah,
Okay.
and bruv, when these leagues rotate, yeah, you need
What
to
are you
prepare
running?
your Trevenant, yeah, and you need to
Prepare my
prepare
Trevor now.
your
You prepare your
yeah, yeah,
Trevor.
bruv. Master League
Oh well, the
Trevenant. I know you got
Stardust. Oh,
one.
Well, I don't have to prepare. It's the Stardust, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ready.
yeah, yeah.
I'm ready. Okay,
So
so if you lose it, if I lose, I'll stream my full data sets, right? So you can
okay,
see it happen. If you
wait,
lose,
wait,
you
wait.
want to hop on.
I'm not the only one using Trevenant, right? Like if you lose, you use Trevenant. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to use
Yeah.
Trevenant. Why
Okay.
would you
Okay.
use
Okay.
Trevenant? You
I
could
don't
use it
know.
if
I
you
don't
want to.
know. Yeah.
Oh
I
no
thought
no
I
no no!
was.
Whoever loses the Stardust best uses
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
So if I lose, I'll stream it. If you
Yeah.
lose, you down to just hop on my stream and I'll just
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
lose
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Trevenant. All right, I'll roast you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell.
Yeah.
I'll
The
call in
mad thing
all the
is
snipers, right? Everyone in that 2100 elo range, come snipe them.
Hey, 21. Yeah. Hey, this guy, bruv,
You're
bruv.
down
When I
bad.
get
If we
my
haven't seen your
elo
elo, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It could be. It
2100,
could
look at the
be.
disrespect. Look at the disrespect.
All
Yeah.
right, I can't wait. You post your elo review. I can't wait to see it, right? Because you're
Yeah.
getting it 2 days
Yeah.
after me, which means that theoretically you have advantage, right?
It
You better
should
just
be.
hop
Yeah.
straight to
It should
veteran,
be.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
if you're
should
not
be.
hopping straight to veteran, I'm chilling.
You say
Okay,
that.
so
You say
one thing we should talk about though, because we have a
that.
bet for legend, right? The
Mm.
loser has to eat the hot chip, right? The one chip
Yeah. Yeah.
challenge. Did you see the news over this past weekend?
No.
So kind of a serious topic too, but
Uh-huh.
someone died from eating the hot chip.
Oh, swear.
Yeah, it was a teenager. He was like maybe like 13 or 14 or something. He was pretty young,
Yeah.
right? So he and because of that, they actually recalled all of them off the shelves
Oh,
because they don't just make
really?
hot chips; they make like other like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
tortilla chips, or whatever. So that's not like, their only business, but that's what they're known for. This company. Uh, so I heard this because it was my teammate Monster that tagged me in our group chat. I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, did you hear about this?" Because I guess he listens to podcasts or knows that we do these bets. I was like, "Oh shoot, what?" And this was like over the weekend. So and Speedish Chief, he was actually at Pittsburgh. He wasn't a commentator, but
I
he
was
was
gonna
working
say
at
he
the
is
event.
gassed right now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, he's gonna
well,
come back onto the podcast, be like, "Yeah, I was just about to eat that hot chip, and then they got
so
record." You
so
know?
yes, so get this right. So they haven't done the full autopsy report yet, so that might still take
Okay.
a few days to a week or whatever. Um, but a lot of kids have been doing this one chip challenge because like a
Mm,
TikTok trend or whatever apparently,
right.
and they don't eat just one; they eat multiple. So I go to
Oh.
Speedy the next morning. I was like, "Did you see the news about the hot chip?" He's like, "Yeah, dude." And he said, "I was going to call y'all on it, right? But then I looked into it,
Uh,
and he said apparently this kid ate like 14 or so hot chips, and that's
Whoa.
why he died. Yeah,
14.
yeah, 14 or 17 or something wild. It was like over 10, right?
Wow.
Because and again, like I'm not trying to like disrespect the kid or not. Like that's a really tragic situation, especially for his family. And like
Yeah, for
as
sure.
kids, like I've done stupid things, right? So like
Yeah.
I'm not saying like oh what a dummy, like why he do this, right? It's just but you're definitely not supposed to eat that many, right? And
Yeah,
also the
man.
warning label is you're not kids are not supposed to eat it. It's supposed to be 18 and above
Right.
only. So I don't think the company could theoretically get sued because
Yeah.
this is like they gave all the
That's just
warnings.
like abuse. I feel like if you ate that amount of anything, you'd probably die. Do
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like you drink enough water, you can die, right?
Yeah, yeah,
If I told you to eat 14 like habanero peppers, you could go to the hospital probably, right? And
yeah,
that's probably
yeah.
less spicy than a hot chip, let alone that.
Mm,
Because I was thinking, I was like, how is this the first time we've heard of anyone dying from eating a hot chip? If
mhm.
it's been around for years. They also say like if you have any medical complications or things like that, or you're
Right,
pregnant,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
don't eat this chip, right? They have a lot of disclaimers. But of course, this is just what his friends said at school that he ate. So we're still waiting for autopsy report. And obviously, like, I get it. If you're the family, you're really upset with this company, you're not going to openly say like, "Hey, if their kid did this, my kid ate 14 of them, like, and they died."
yeah,
Like, like,
yeah.
to a degree, like, your child is a little bit responsible for this, right? I shouldn't say
Mm.
a little bit, like, it is responsible, but um. So anyway, so at this point in time, I checked last night too. You can't really buy the chip like officially. There's
Okay.
might be some third party people selling it, so we could probably amend it a little bit. Unless it comes back on. Oh, and also, I don't want to pressure you to eat it if you don't want to. I personally, if it comes back on the market, I'll still eat it.
Yeah,
Because I'm only eating one.
yeah,
Like
I'm fine with
it's one.
it.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
recommend
I'm
people
not
to
gonna I'm not gonna commit to a
14 or anything. Yeah,
nah, yeah, I ain't
yeah,
committing to 14
yeah.
regardless, yeah. But I'm not gonna commit to like a bet where I'm not prepared to lose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But I just don't want you to feel like you're pressured to, because especially given the health
nah,
complications
bruv,
for some
yeah,
people.
yeah,
But again, I think if we were to do it, we'll be smart about it. We'll wear a glove when we're eating it. You should probably like drink some like Pepto Bismol head time you're
yeah.
eating bananas.
I
Like, line up
well,
your stomach, right?
I
To a
wouldn't
very
have done
slow.
that, but now I will. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Of course,
yeah,
I was
no,
going
I
to tell
know.
you this, right? I was going to tell you
Okay,
this
okay,
regardless when
okay.
you lose, right? So I was going to give you this heads
Yeah,
up. Okay,
if
so alternatively,
hmm.
if this was not to happen, um, you want to just do like a habanero?
Yeah, yeah.
I would say a habanero, but you can't eat or drink anything for 3 minutes straight.
Okay. I don't really know the
It's not as hot.
like
I've eaten habaneros before.
yeah,
I've eaten
yeah,
multiple in
that's
one
fine.
sitting. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So how about this? Habanero, 5 minutes, no nothing.
Yeah, okay.
And 5 minutes might be long. Let's just do 3 minutes. I don't want to
I
do
don't
this.
mind. No, I'll do it. I'll do it live.
Well, you say this now, you don't mind. Uh,
Hey, I have no intention of doing it, yeah, because I have no intention of losing.
you have no intention of even getting your
Uh,
freaking elo. Like, what are we talking about?
hey, if this was 2 days later, I'd already have it. So
Uh,
I've been making
my
some moves. I've
gosh.
been making
When
some
you're
moves. So.
commenting on my Twitter, be like, yo, you better watch out. Like, that's it. I'm like, oh, what? Like, where you at?
Hey,
I
I need to
guarantee, I
scare
feel,
you, yeah.
yeah, yeah. After the first few times, I'm going to like realize that you're just bluffing, right? Yeah, yeah, I could tell. It's like this is why now you're good as poker, right? You bluffing all day until I call the bluff. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, this
Yeah,
is
but
a
bruv,
shit,
what
right?
happens when you start calling the bluff and you realize it was never a bluff in the beginning?
You know me, I'm going hard out of the way. I
Oh.
really am curious what Stardust gains you got, right? Because
You know what? I'm
that's
super
gonna
curious as well, yeah,
that's gonna
because
be the real kicker of like for
hey,
me to understand like what you think is impressive versus.
do you know what? Do you know what? Yeah,
That is one mystery about Speedy I never figured out is how he kept winning these Stardust bets. Like, I'm like, what are you doing
what do some
at
people do?
these?
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing at community days to do. He's in Mississippi, right? Like, there's not known for a hot spot for Pokemon
yeah.
Go.
Do you
I'm
think
like,
maybe
how do
he's
you
doing
win these
like the
Stardust?
AR catching and like
I mean, I do
just
it too.
stacking loads of
I have
stuff?
stacked
You
research.
do
Like,
it
I'm
too. I don't do
well,
that.
sometimes I
Mm,
don't because sometimes it's like slows on my phone.
yeah,
But he has an iPhone too. Like, if you have Android AR catching, is way faster apparently.
is it? Yeah.
Because you just set the Pokemon area, whereas you can't forgo. Like, for iPhone, you just like goes everywhere.
I was gonna say yeah, just as a sneak peek, yeah,
Okay.
of my amount of steps over the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they correlate with the amount of Stardust I've got, yeah,
Oh,
but
okay. Well, how many steps you get?
it's not dropping below 15k.
15K?
Yeah, which
Wait,
is actually
wait.
quite
I can't
surprising. Can't
tell.
lie.
You're flexing on me because you got 15K
Wait, is that not a
steps?
lot? Is that not a lot?
15K kilometers? What do you mean? I had 44 this
15,000.
past
Oh,
week.
swear down. Oh,
Wait, you're
okay.
talking about every day 15K or
Yeah,
for the full week?
each day. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
thought you
yeah,
meant
yeah.
every
Come
week.
on, bro.
No, no, no.
Like,
Bro, I don't know. That's why I was shocked. Wait, so what's your end of the week kilometers? Like on Monday?
uh, does it say? Oh, end of the week kilometers. Last week was
Yeah.
110k, which
Oh
was actually
shoot,
pretty wild. I can't
that's a
lie.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, I
I
might
think
be
a
in
lot of that
trouble.
would have been like going
I'm
to the
ready.
airports. And, yeah.
I mean, to a degree, but like I was at the airport too. I wasn't wanting that much.
Yeah, well, you always do more than
Oh,
once.
okay. I might be in trouble. Wait, what's your total catches? I know you took a break from the
Oh
game for a
yeah,
little bit.
bruv.
I'm just
Like,
curious what your total
because I
catches
looked at
are.
that right at the beginning. Yeah, when you were
Yeah.
mentioning total catches, isn't it? Yeah. 179,000.
Okay, I'm tired. You must just be walking a lot. You must just be. I don't know what you're doing, but
Hey, look. You walk this
Niantic,
week.
check his
22K.
defit, right? Check his
22K.
defit. Something ain't right. Interesting. Wait, okay. How much kilometers are you at right now?
22K.
this week. Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, you got. I might be in trouble.
Yeah.
No wonder why you're not playing
Let's
GBL. You
go.
out there catch it.
Trevenant in Master League. Let's go. I
Uh,
want to see you make a video on it as well, yeah?
seriously, no. Trevenant Master League. No, it's Great League. Trevenant. What do you mean?
Hey, but the next rotation is Master League and
No,
Psychic
no, no,
Cup,
no.
so
The bet.
oh, does it have to be Great League? Okay,
We
okay.
specify. Yeah, listen back to
Okay,
our
okay, okay. I
podcast.
didn't
Yeah,
realize we
yeah.
specified on
Oh,
that. No.
I
I thought I
specified
could
it.
just spring it on you and Master League.
No,
Okay,
no, no. I got. Trust me, I
okay,
got it
okay,
on
okay.
lock, right?
That's
uh,
fine. That's fine. I can make a Trevenant team.
okay, all right, all right. I mean, just run
Shadow Ball,
Trevin.
2 shots of Gligar, right? Let's
If you say
go.
so. All right. So for the tea this week, I know we're going a little long, so we'll talk about this only a little bit. But I made a post yesterday about how, and we're recording this on Monday, so or Tuesday, so obviously this is Monday. How the extra spawns at the regionals has really nice, right? It's really great for accessibility, and some people liked it and stuff like that. But man, I got people are really going in on all the other stuff, right? They're like, oh, it's like oh, another pay to win event or something like that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you have to like it's not really pay to win. Like you're just
Yeah,
paying
you're
to
not
go to
really
the
winning
regional,
anything.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess like for some people, if you don't have a med chain, you have to pay to go regional. But I think that's fair. But something like if someone said like, hey, I guess like it's great to travel regionals, but travel to regionals isn't practical for most people. Traveling for an in-person event like GoFest is not the same because you're going to uh as going as a spectator for a regional, right? Like the former is easier justified to go to GoFest to play,
Okay.
whereas just to spectate, right? In case you don't have the resources to play
Okay.
yet,
Fair
right? You
enough. Fair
go
enough.
for
Yeah.
that too. And I said, like, that's fair, but like, assuming you're someone, let's say you're someone in the United States, right, or North America, there's 12 regionals, right, in North America,
Hmm.
two in Canada, and the rest in the U.S. One international and one world championships, all happening in this region/country. So there's a way higher likelihood that you could probably attend a regional as a spectator much more easily than you could go for GoFest.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, I could easily drive to at least two regionals this year. One within a couple minutes from me, and the other like a few hours drive, which is
Yeah.
obviously way more affordable and easier to get to than GoFest, right? In fact, one of them, I don't even have to get a hotel. I just drive down the street and come back home, right?
Was
So
it the LA one?
the LA one, yeah, that's close. Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be crazy. It would be stupid for me to buy a hotel for what? But anyway, but so there's that. Again, also like look, I get it, right? Some people things aren't perfect, but like how much of a like improvement was these regionals with these spawns, and you still got people complaining,
Bruv.
right? I don't get it, right? It's just like we do all this stuff, and this is remind me too. We talked about like the meta update and stuff, right? Going
Yeah.
to regional and like
Yeah.
too much meta shakeup might not be great. We got people complaining about how there wasn't a meta shakeup, and then we got the same people complain about how Seals got buffed too much. Like, which is it, right? Was there
Bruv.
not enough of a buff, or was too much of a buff? Like, it's just like I feel like your little Red Riding Hood, but like this soup is not like it's or no, not what was it? Maybe not red.
Yeah,
The
yeah. I
one
feel
where
like
you're
you're
you're drinking all
confusing two
the
different ones. Yeah.
porridge, right? From the
Goldilocks.
pears.
Yeah.
Goldilocks, right?
Yeah.
People acting like Goldilocks out here, being like, "Oh, it's still too much of a buff. It's not enough buff,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to be just right." But like, it's like there's you can't. It's and I kid you not, it's literally some of the same people complaining there's no buffs,
Yeah.
and then they're talking about how it's too buffed. What do you want, right? Like I
Bro, I'll be honest.
guarantee
Yeah.
if you're making those decisions, people are going to be complaining out the wazoo of whatever you're going to be updating, and then you're gonna be like, man, yeah, maybe I
You
am too
can't
much of a
win.
crybaby. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't
You
win.
can't
But
win. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I have a very long Twitter mute list, yeah, because
do you? Oh no,
yeah,
I like
man,
to see
some
it just so I can like make
is
fun of people
it
behind their backs.
for me, some opinions are just not worth like, and I'll give people an opportunity, yeah, but after I see maybe like 4 or 5 like
I want to see
questionable
your.
opinions from the same
Can you
person,
send me a
I'm
DM, a
like,
screenshot of all your
yeah,
mutes?
I'll send
I
it to you.
want to
It's
see. I
quite
want to
funny
see. I
actually.
want to see what
Yeah.
happens. What it looks
um,
like.
but yeah, man, the thing is you know what? In anything, yeah, you can never cater to every single person
You
because
can't.
everyone always
You
have
can't.
so you're always going to get people complaining about something. But
Which
I
is
think
which
also
is
they're kind of missing the point where it's like this is not supposed to fix everything. This is
yeah.
just an additional
It's help.
bonus, you know?
Yeah, it's an additional bonus. You're trying
Like
to increase accessibility, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, what are you going to say? let's just bring back the monkey spawns or like some stupid spawns at these regionals
Yeah.
instead because not everyone could go. What? Like just make
Yeah.
it eligible for people that go. And again, we talked about it earlier. Some people that play VGC and TCG that are at these
Yeah.
events or even Unite at the internationals,
Hmm.
they can open up their game and play and catch stuff so that they can compete. Like I remember I
Exactly.
was walking behind someone watching the TCG finals for the international at Europe last year.
Hmm.
And for at on the championship Sunday on that final day, it's each game is one at a time. So this is
Yeah.
by in all likelihood, this is not a Pokemon Go player. They came
Right.
just to watch TCG finals, and I walk behind them, I see them GBLing because they're waiting for the next
Sick.
season. Like, right? Like that's just so cool to see,
Yeah.
right? I also I recognized a lot of the Go players, and like I knew for a fact it wasn't someone I recognized.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a family member, someone that watched Go, but like they came just for the junior finals for TCG, right? The Go players already left to do whatever they want to do, right?
Hmm.
So they weren't. So maybe they do both. I don't know, but like the fact that like you have people like doing this, it's a good thing, and people somehow still find a way to complain about it. And like you
Yeah.
said, you can't cater to everyone's needs, and I think that's fine. And everyone like, but it's just like it's like people think that their needs should be catered to. You know,
Yeah.
like it's okay to
It's.
have criticism. Like I even said, like one of my biggest critiques is accessibility, and I'm
Mhm.
glad they did this. But before they did all this stuff, before they had quadruple dust, whatever, I found the game, and it's still not super accessible, but I found the game to be super inaccessible. You don't see me tweeting every single week about how inaccessible the game is, right? You got to
Yeah.
live with it, right? It is a thing. You tell people like, hey, mega fighting Pokemon if you want more meta type stuff.
Hmm.
I try to play during these events. Like, yeah, it's hard, but like, these are ways around it, right? To help
Yeah.
build it. But it's not great. It is what it is, and now we have it, right? But like, I don't know. It's just anyway. I was talking about this stuff, right? And then a discussion came through about traveling in general, right? I'm talking about like
Hmm.
how this event, but somehow it's still looped with this stuff. So this is actually that was one of the comments earlier, but this was a
Right.
longer discussion from Evan777713. But so traveling is hard. Maybe during streams, a special incense code um could drop that gives everyone a home access to top 12 Pokemon from the previous regional.
I like that
And
idea.
I know you did because
The
you commented on it, right? You
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
"Hey, that's a great idea."
yeah. Not
Um,
maybe not those specific
specific,
specs, but like
yeah.
a special incense code. I think is lit. That's
I
like
think it would be cool. I think
yeah,
that could be really good, especially for Worlds, right? Because you were
yeah,
tuning in as well
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
that. I mean,
It'd be
this
really
incense
cool.
may be the kind where something spawns every minute, right? Because
Yeah,
if it's making you walk, then you can't really
yeah,
watch the
yeah.
regional at the
Then
same
that's a
time, right?
bit
Unless you have
pointless.
your
Yeah,
phone.
yeah,
But it's like so
yeah,
it's a little counterproductive. Um, yeah, I like I think that's a good idea, or if you do a special research and stuff like that too. And I
yeah.
said, yeah, like I said, like, look, it's not a bad idea, right? Especially for accessibility, but I'm just guessing from 96 cent, right? Like I would support
Mhm.
it. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, but my I said, my guess is they want to strike a balance,
Mhm.
and they're trying to also incentivize people to attend tournaments, even if it's just
Right.
as a spectator,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, because attendance, and I said real talk, the North American tournament attendance rates are atrocious compared to the other regions.
I'm
So I personally
disappointed. I'm
don't.
not gonna lie.
I am too. Yeah. Yeah. Like I
We
personally don't
like
mind that it's more exclusive for those willing to attend events because
yeah,
like it's like Europe sells out, right? I know Barcelona's a free event, right? So like
yeah.
it's less of a
But it
barrier,
still
but
had like a lot of demand past the 128. Do you know what I mean? There was
yeah.
a lot of people who wanted to go. So you could expect that even if it was a paid event, it would have sold out. Yeah.
Like Lille, for example. How
Lil,
are you
there's a lot
signed
of
up for that?
interest. It hasn't opened up yet. It's opening up tomorrow.
Oh, you going?
I can't now. I'm flying back to Melbourne the day after the regional.
Oh, so you're not competing
So
until Australia.
yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
Brisbane's going to be my first one. Yeah,
wow.
which
Okay.
is end of November.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah, like I expect Lil to definitely get over the 128 because I think they've got 256
Mm,
thingy. So I expect it to go over the 128. And to be honest, I feel like that should be our baseline just in general, right? We have
mm,
enough interested people, like even in NA, yeah, we should be, you know, easily hitting 128, yeah, and then maybe for some of the really good ones, we're stretching up to that like 250 mark. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
yeah, so to see some of them that are like not even breaking 100, yeah, is
We didn't break 100
I'm
for Pittsburgh,
disappointed.
the
I'm
first
not gonna
tournament.
lie. bro. Do you
It's
know what I
like one of the
mean?
few tournaments in the Northeast too. Like it's driving for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like I'm not trying to say like costs of going to these tournaments are like is not a factor, right?
No, but
But
like
there's
even
but like you have to pay. It's not free to go to Barcelona, right?
yeah, this. I
Yeah, it
mean, the
might be
thing is, you were
cheaper
saying
depending if
this,
you're in
right?
Spain or not, right? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but okay, look, the okay in terms of like European traveling, yeah. Um, it turns out I found out recently that it's like mainly cheaper from certain main cities. Yeah, so like
Hmm.
from London, for example, it's like
Yeah.
quite cheap. But there's some countries or some cities where you're paying basically the same amount that people are paying in the US
Yeah.
to go to places,
Yeah.
but people are still going. You know?
Yeah, and a lot of people from US like they're commenting, right? And I was just talking
Mhm.
about this stuff too, right? And like, everyone's saying like, yeah, like North America, USA being so widespread without a lot of accessibility, like travel accessibility, I guess, right? He
Mhm.
said virtually impossible for me to go to, I guess, like Portland or Peoria from Atlanta without a plane ticket. But I think it's a dilemma for sure. Like I mean, it's not like people are walking or like
Yeah,
driving for in Europe. I mean, maybe they take a train, but a
yeah.
lot of them are also taking planes,
Taking
right?
planes as
Also,
well.
like,
Yeah,
why Portland? Like, if Evan lives in Atlanta, like that's like from one corner of the country to another. There's so many on the East Coast, right? I don't know. I
yeah.
literally
That's such a bad
my
example.
flight was a layover between it was at Atlanta to Pittsburgh, right? So I
Hmm.
flew from LA to Atlanta, Atlanta to Pittsburgh. If he's flying out from Atlanta, like he could have gone to Pittsburgh. Okay, I put it this way: I ran into some flight issues because my
Right.
first leg of flight it got delayed, so I missed my connector flight, and the
Okay.
earliest flight I could possibly book was the next day. I would have been missing the regional. Like I'll be like, I need
Right.
to get there tonight. They didn't have any for Delta. I bought a ticket a few hours before the flight on that Friday from Southwest
Uh
for
huh.
$200, right? Which is again not super expensive.
No,
It's not super cheap.
honestly,
It's not super
that's
cheap, but buying a flight the day of hours before the flight and
yeah,
it's $200, like it's reasonable.
yeah.
It's
That's
reasonable. You could do it.
personally, I think that's. I don't want to say it's nothing in it, yeah,
It's
but
not nothing. Yeah, I
that's
know there's a cost to
yeah,
it.
but no, no, no. But it's like it's not like you said, day before flying. Yeah,
Some of these
it
NA
doesn't
players
sound
make
as
it seem like it's
inaccessible as
like
people.
like things are like
Yeah,
we're like it's an arm and leg to travel. It is
yeah.
expensive, right? And this is like to be a competitive player in the circuit. It can be expensive, especially if you're not
Hmm.
winning much. For people like Wdage and Axton, like they're at least making even or making money
Yeah,
off it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
for
they win
sure.
enough, right?
Yeah,
But like for
yeah.
most people, that's not the case, right? And I understand that. And of course, you got to factor in hotels, food, and all that stuff,
Mhm.
right? But at the end of the day, like it's happening in other regions. I'm not saying like
Yeah.
there's no cost to it, but there's like, and then people start tagging Europeans. They're like, what's the cost for you? What's the blah, right? And they're like dropping down their like train ticket and stuff. And like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that's like a decent amount too, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
not like,
you know, it's
I don't know
funny because I
what,
saw someone
I don't,
tag EJ and like
yeah.
he is probably the most inaccessible when it
Yeah.
comes to like he lives in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
So this
Right.
guy is paying an arm and a leg, but he's still
And
going.
that's I mean, yeah, and that's the truth for people in North America too, right? I mean,
Mm.
Evans in Atlanta or flying out from Atlanta, which is much more reasonable. But like I know For the Battles was commenting and she's flying she's like in like NorCal, kind of rural NorCal,
Oh,
like the closest airport like Sacramento. Like it's not a cheap airport to fly from. So yes, I get
right.
her. Her flights are more expensive, but if you're tagging people in Europe that are living in London, it's not a comparable excuse. It's like saying
Yeah,
tagging me in LA. My flights are way cheaper because I'm right at by LAX, right? Like it's a
exactly.
big
Yeah.
airport, it's a big city, it's a big hub, it's easier to travel, right?
There's so
Obviously,
many flights going out from
if
there
you
as
live in a
well.
rural
Yeah.
area, if whether you're in the US or in the UK, the prices are going to change because of it, right?
Yeah.
But
True,
I get
true.
it. It is costly, whatever, stuff like that. I'm just saying, look, I don't know, like we don't like the attendance rate is awful for NA, right?
Yeah.
And part of it, I feel like we're also spoiled. If you take away half of the tournaments for NA, I guarantee people be flying to these, right? Like
Yeah. True, true,
partially,
true.
I was actually impressed that NA did so well at Worlds because I'm like, our tournaments are smaller, right? There's less people, but I was
Hmm.
also thinking about this, and I actually made this like I came to this conclusion like literally like a few minutes ago while I was talking, and I realized maybe it's fine, right? Like we have people that are really good at battling, like Accent with Dodge, right? All these people that you see a lot at, they do really well in these big international tournaments too. And maybe the reason is because our tournament participation is so small. almost everyone they face is a good player. That
Yeah.
thinks they can win it, right? You don't have a lot of there's not a lot of filler, right? I shouldn't say filler. Filler is like a maybe not like is maybe a slightly offensive term, but you don't have a lot of like players that are like not as invested in the game, but just willing to just to go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Like the people that are committed and they think they can win because they're willing to
yeah.
spend the money and the time and whatever to do it, which seems like the trend for NA players. Whereas for Europe, for LATAM, for some other regions, a lot of their player base is going to go, even if they don't think they can win it all, or they're not maybe like
Hmm.
hitting legend consistently in GBL or whatever, like doing all
Yeah.
these grassroots tournaments. But they're going because like it's a community thing and they want to be there and they don't
Hmm.
have as many opportunities, whatever. It's like it's a part of their competitive culture,
Hmm.
right? Whereas
But
in
I'd
the
also say that, like, because I was thinking like Pittsburgh did seem pretty stacked
yeah,
considering the
there's
fact
still
that
like
they
90
didn't
something
break
players, so I'm
100.
not acting like it's not a lot.
Yeah.
But for the first
Yeah.
tournament of the year and the cap was 256, okay, I'll
Yeah.
put it this way. If the first tournament of the year was in Europe, cap was 256, I bet you at least 256 like it's going to sell out. There's no way it
Yeah.
wouldn't, right? There's no way it wouldn't. And this is like
Yeah.
the
I think
only
so.
tournament in the Northeast in the US this year. You know, obviously,
Yeah.
again, I know people have busy lives and whatever, and had some people had to take time off work on Friday, and like, but like, that's also not a unique NA problem, right?
Yeah. 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 It's true. It's
I think
true.
it's a yes. There's a cost difference sometimes, and then depending on where you live, but I think it's a mindset. It's not
Yeah.
it's a bigger issue is
Also,
the
do you know what? I
mindset. I think.
think like I don't and I don't know if this is the thing, right? But like again, Americans travel less just generally, right? In
Mhm.
terms of like life, right?
Yeah,
There's some Americans who don't even have passports and stuff like that.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah. Europe it
wondering
makes
if
sense to have passports because
yeah,
the
yeah, because
country's like
you
right
know,
next
you
door.
like
Yeah.
go around. But I also wonder if maybe that's like because one thing I've learned over the last few years is that there's definitely a more expensive way to travel and a cheaper way to travel, yeah,
Hmm.
and they aren't necessarily different. Yeah, it
Hmm.
usually comes down to whether you're smart at how you book things or whether you're
Hmm.
just booking the first thing you see, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if maybe Europeans are just a bit more savvy on that side, whereas some Americans may be looking at travel options,
Yeah.
seeing the first thing they see and being like, well, that's too expensive, I can't do it. And
You
actually
know,
maybe there are other options, but they're just not very good at
that's a great point you bring
finding
up.
them.
And honestly, shout out to Arrow because I feel like looking back on how he did all his travels last season,
Hmm.
he traveled really smart. So what he did
Right.
is he paid for some like year-round pass or something, some like
Hmm.
summer pass or whatever from his airline. I forgot what airline he flies in the U.S., but he paid like upfront maybe a couple $100.
Right.
And essentially, how this works is he will be essentially put on standby for flights consistently.
Okay.
But if he could get off the standby list, he could go. And he says, flying to all these tournaments, there's a bunch of flights. I'm going to get off standby on one of these flights regardless because they're not all
Yeah.
full,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So he's been literally that's because he went to a lot of tournaments last year. I don't know how
Yeah.
many. He
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
over seven,
I think he
right?
probably went to like
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
them.
yeah, and like like I know
Yeah.
Arrow, like he's not like some billionaire, right? That has all this
Yeah.
money. Like he traveled really smart, and then he just like shared Airbnbs with people, whatever,
Hmm.
right? He had certain things ways to cut expenses. He's not eating at like fancy restaurants every time where he's going, but he's
Yeah.
able to compete, and he's mostly just relying on registration fees and stuff like that. But he paid a couple $100, and he was able to travel around the country multiple times
Yeah.
at a pretty affordable rate, right? Yes,
Hmm.
it's not the standard way of travel, but it was smart and he got to every tournament he
Yeah.
wanted to go to.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
never couldn't go to a tournament because of this, right? And I don't know, I mean, if anyone listening, feel free to hit up Arrow if you were curious about it, right? But he traveled smart, right? And like there's ways to do it and make it affordable. And the mindset is he wanted to compete,
Right.
he wanted to grind the tournaments to like and even after he qualified, he still went to NAIC to continue and like practice and stuff, right? um, and Hartford too. I think he went to Hartford as well after he qualified,
Hmm.
right? So it's just like I think it's a mindset thing. I think it's also like we just have so many tournaments that people are kind of spoiled and they don't feel the necessity. If we
Yeah.
had this many tournaments in Latin America, guaranteed they'll be selling out, right? Because
Yeah,
they
man.
barely have any. they
Bruv,
have one. They
they've
have
got,
one
yeah,
right now so far. One listed on the website and
yeah, one on the
international team. That's
IC,
it.
yeah,
They'll
yeah,
add more later, but like they literally don't even they
yeah,
don't even have the schedule out ahead of time like we do. I literally already know there's a tournament in LA. So if I'm trying to fly to LA later next year from somewhere else, I could book that, right? Way
yeah.
in advance. I could play my travels.
Hmm.
These people are like literally like flying by the seat of their pants trying to figure out when their tournament is, and then they sign up as fast as they can and try to make the travel work.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't like I get there's like a lot of reasons to justify it, but there's I think like some of them are legitimate, but I think a lot of them are excuses or just a different mindset. And again, people start going on this like whole tirade about like double elimination formats also not welcoming, so people don't feel motivated to go. Like I know like for the battles and Evan both like created separate tweets about this and whatever. Look, I'm not saying I think Swiss is worse. I think Swiss might be better, right? Especially on day one. Maybe you do double elimination day two, but the thing is it's double elimination this season. They're not changing it, right? I'd be shocked. I
yeah,
don't know. I don't have insight on this, but I'm pretty positive they're not going to suddenly just change the whole format a week after the season's already started, right? It's double elimination. It's double elimination for the rest of the season, right? Get used to it or don't. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say, but like it is part of it. Yes, I get that going 0-2 at a tournament after traveling and paying all this money and losing and get eliminated sucks, but it's going to happen. Like honestly, if you play Swiss, it doesn't matter. You go 0-2 off the bat, you probably still don't make top cut anyway. Yeah, you got to play for a few more rounds. So I guess like you get some enjoyment out of
yeah,
it, right? You get to play a little bit, but it doesn't really change who makes top cut and who doesn't. You know,
yeah,
it
yeah,
changes maybe like the skill level top cut because it balances out the groups a little bit. If you do Swiss groups, then it's the same thing, right? If you do a Swiss for the whole, like all everyone in the tournament,
yeah.
no groups at
I
all,
think if
no
you do Swiss,
separate
you can
pods.
go like 0-3 and have a chance of topping.
Depends on the size of the tournament, but yeah,
Yeah,
potentially,
yeah, like
potentially.
arguably. But then that's just like one extra
But
game. Do you know what I mean? In a
yeah,
year.
but also, but you're playing more too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like if you
exactly.
said like, oh, it's triple elimination for Go for instead of double elimination, you're just playing
Yeah,
more games. So that's like it's not any easier to qualify.
yeah,
In my opinion, it's not
fair.
any easier to make top cut with Swiss.
Mhm.
In fact, in my opinion, it's easier to make top cut in double elim
Yeah, because
because
sometimes you only have to play like like 2 or 3 games. You
and
know,
not
if you
only that,
win,
but the
yeah,
people you face, the skill level may not correlate as much,
yeah,
right?
exactly. True,
Like
true,
I
true. Yeah,
definitely, there's been tournaments where I've competed. I'm like, actually, no, I would say most of my brackets are actually kind of tough, they might be harder if I was Swiss, right?
hmm,
Um, because you face harder opponents. In double elim,
yeah,
you might just face like based on how your bracket shakes up, the players in my face may not be as strong, which is why sometimes you see a very clear skill discrepancy in day number two. And it's
hmm,
not necessarily like, oh, the other guy didn't win all day. Yeah, they won all of day one, but the people they face were way easier than the people that the other person faced, right?
right, yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I get it. It kind of sucks to only play twice and then just
yeah.
get
But ultimately,
eliminated. But
again, you know what? This is the same as Europe. You know,
yeah,
like the same thing
yeah,
happens there.
yeah.
So,
This,
and people are
this
still
Swiss
going.
argument makes even less
Uh,
sense because
yeah,
this is the same format in those countries too, right? Like in those
yeah,
regions. Like that is not a valid excuse for why there's less participation in NA, right? I
yeah.
used to say I used to make fun of a lot of EU people. I was saying I think Dialab had this copy pasta of EU is also known as stands for easily upset,
Easy, yeah,
right? And a bunch of
yeah,
Europeans came in and that just proved his point, right? Like, what do you mean we're easily
yeah.
upset? I mean, he's like, it's a copy pasta. I'm not even serious, right? But like, I just joked about it, be like, oh yeah, they're clearly easily upset, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I used to joke like, this anger just carried over from the fast food denial days, the NA advantage. But honestly, like this thread is making it seem like a bunch of NA players are just a bunch of crybabies and
Mhm.
making excuses, right? Like a lot of these. I'm not saying they're not barriers. These are the same barriers and things that people in other regions have, and sometimes it's even more, right? You could say, oh, maybe a train ride from EU to one country to another is cheaper, but in Latin America, you're crossing multiple countries. You're taking flights. Yo,
Yeah,
Brazil itself is a massive country. I don't think people
bro,
realize how to fly to Brazil took me 18 hours. Like that's how far
that's
down, like
wild.
how big Brazil is and how far south it is. But I'm not saying it's going to take 18 hours from any other place in Latin America, but it's a
Yeah,
big continent.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
in Mexico, you're flying down to Brazil for international is like a 10 plus hour flight, right? Like, yeah, okay, going from California to New Orleans for NAIC is expensive, but don't tell me it's more expensive than flying multiple countries from Mexico to Latin America, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I guess at that point it's cheaper for them to go to NAIC, but still,
probably
I mean,
NA.
it's
Yeah,
their
yeah,
region,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't know. Anyway, just start off as a tweet. I'm trying to help. Like, it's great to see more accessibility, and everyone's tweeting about all this other stuff. So,
yeah. Again,
I don't know. I mean,
not everyone's going to be happy, you know what I mean? And
no, they're not.
yeah. And I think also people are kind of ignoring the fact that, like, if you just take a look at everything, like, you take a step back, yeah, and in just 2 weeks, like, look at all the good things that have come out in just 2 weeks,
Yeah.
meta shake up, change like spawns and stuff at
Hmm.
regionals, all this Stardust all over the place. Like, that's a wildly different game than just last month. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes some gratitude and appreciation is
Yeah.
is what we need.
This isn't new info either, right? I mean, I guess I might be maybe stirred the pot or spurred the conversation when I said the
Yeah,
attendance from NA is a little atrocious.
because
Like,
you're an NA guy saying this. Do you know what I mean?
I
And
am,
usually
yeah.
it's just EU people just like
Yeah, no, it's
commenting
true.
on
Like,
that.
look,
Yeah,
I will pull up. Take a guess, right? Sacramento is in less than a month. The registration's already out. Take a
yeah.
guess at how many people have signed up for it. I could look at it because I signed up for it, right? So I could see.
I'm gonna say like 60.
60? Are you so
Is
when you
that
say
too many?
60, are you trying to be generous? Like, yeah, I think it might be more, but I'm just gonna lowball it.
I mean, I feel
What's your
like
mindset
I
thinking
feel like
60?
it's gonna end up. Okay. So if I'm correct, Sacramento is like in
It,
California.
it's the capital of California,
It's the
actually.
capital of California.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I
It's not the
guess
biggest city,
California's
but it's in
big in it.
California.
Yeah, yeah. But
California is the
like,
biggest. California is the most populated state in all of U.S. too. Like, it's a big
okay,
state, but yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
lot of people that live there.
okay, I
It's
I
West
would
Coast.
expect an event there, yeah,
Hmm.
to easily get maybe like 120, 130, yeah. Based on Fresno last year, I'm probably expecting like maybe 80, and I
Okay.
reckon maybe it's at
Yeah. And
60 at the
Fresno was
moment.
also the last tournament of the year, right? So, and it's a less accessible city in Sacramento as well. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. It's a
yeah,
very small city, small town.
okay,
Okay, so you go with 60, right?
yeah, yeah. At the moment, right? Yeah,
57.
57.
57. It's pretty bad.
That's pretty
And
bad,
here's the
man.
thing: the most amount of players that register is usually that first week. After that, like the registration rate drops.
Yeah,
It drops. 57. That's it. I mean, I know
that's
LA
so
was probably gonna have more,
disappointing.
right? But this is
Yeah,
like,
LA makes sense though. Yeah,
but
LA
there's not a
makes
lot of
sense.
West Coast tournaments. So like, in
Yeah,
it's Northern California, so it's not. So it's arguably speaking more accessible because it's more the center point of the West Coast rather than
right.
at the very bottom of the West Coast in LA.
Mhm.
LA just has a lot of people, but like,
Yeah,
it is not hard to go there. I could drive up if I want to. I just booked a flight because it's like
yeah.
still like fairly cheap, right? But um,
If LA doesn't max out, I'd be disappointed because that sounds like just doing something in London. Do you know what I mean? And
but
you
the
know,
thing is, NAIC didn't max out for NA.
yeah,
That's crazy, right? Like, there's a bunch of no shows, but I don't even think they hit 256. That we had a bunch of spots probably bought up by spectators of VGC and
spectators and
TG
stuff.
because
Yeah,
literally it didn't fill out for like weeks.
mad. And then I guess a lot of people for the internationals as well. They want the little goodie bag in it because you get the
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. You
yeah,
get more swag. It was actually cheaper.
yeah.
Admission fee for NASC was actually cheaper than regionals.
I swear.
Funny enough,
Wow,
yeah, it was actually
wow.
way cheaper.
Yeah,
But I don't
yeah,
know.
man.
I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, I'm just saying the facts, right? The attendance is pretty bad
Yeah,
for NA. Like, you can say what you want, right? But eh, I don't know. I feel
we
like
literally have the people to be reaching 250. Do you know what I mean?
we
Like in
do.
terms of interest in the game, like a
We do.
season ago, fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, everything was still pretty new in it, but like,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know,
Maybe
man.
people are
Yeah.
discouraged to not winning as much stuff like that, and I get it, right?
That's not a
But like,
reason, bruv. Yeah.
I mean, if that's really the case, work on your game. I just want, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude, but I want to sponsor
Yeah.
lives. Come, like, just get good. Like, I don't know what you want
Yeah.
me to say. Like, it's
It's true. It's
Pokemon
true.
Go, right? Because some of these people
Yeah.
too, I know they have the resources. They didn't just start playing PvP yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So they have the resources, and not everyone's gonna be good at the game. But I think if
Yeah.
if your biggest, like, disappointment is your own performance, you can change that.
Yeah, man.
Sign up for coaching. right? Hit up
Yeah.
people for coaching. There's a lot of great coaches,
Watch YouTube,
right?
man.
Watch YouTube. I
Like,
got a YouTube channel. I got a Patreon for coaching if you want it, right?
look at
I'm
this
not trying to
shameless
brag or
self
anything,
promotion.
but I got a lot of my patrons to do pretty well in some of these tournaments.
Yeah.
Maybe not like they didn't win any, but they did pretty well, right? I help them with coaching. Any
Mhm.
championship points, you don't need to win at all to qualify,
Yeah. Yeah. True.
right?
True.
But I mean, I'm not just promoting me. There's a lot of coaches. There's really good players out there. The help is
Hmm.
there, right? Okay, I mean, some of it you have to pay money, but YouTube is free, right? You
Yeah.
can scrim with people, ask for feedback. That's free to do. Like I literally saw Paul Lasher post on Twitter the other day, "Hey, I'm looking for scrims for Barcelona. Hit me up if you
Hmm.
want to." One of the best players in the world. You could have hit her up, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she'll say no, she doesn't know you, or you don't have the qualifications. But there are people that are looking for scrims. Like if
Yeah.
that's your concern, just work on getting better, right? I don't know. Like it's just like what's complaining about the format going to do if you're going to go to Swiss and still perform poorly, right?
Yeah.
You got to play a few more battles, but like you can sit at home and play battles too if that's what you really want to do.
Hmm.
I don't know. There was some talk about like travel destinations a big part of it, but I'm there to compete. I mean, maybe some people it's like a vacation
Yeah.
for them. Like I didn't go to Fresno to hang out in Fresno, right? Like when I go to these events, even San Diego, it's a nice city, but like I just went there to compete, right? Like
Yeah.
that's my mindset. Maybe everyone has different mindsets, so I get it. If you want to use it as a
I mean, I feel
vacation,
like even
sure.
some of the European places, isn't it? Like, you know,
They're not like hotspot
obviously,
places every time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, the places like the countries are nice, isn't it? Yeah, but they're usually holding them in some next any towns.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no offense to any Polish people, I don't know what's in Gdansk, yeah, but there's a regional out there. I don't know if there's much to see, but people are going to compete. And also,
Yeah.
I think
Hartford
another
Regional
thing
had one
as
of the
well,
biggest participations last year, and Hartford's in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut.
yeah.
Connecticut
So
in
that's
general
not
is the
even
middle
an
of nowhere.
argument.
There's really not. I grew up there, so I know, right? I spent like
Mm.
over 10 years of my entire childhood there. It's a boring place, but people still went there, right? It was a mindset. It was partially also Kaiser just saying like, "Hey, we're going to throw a big party. Everyone come through," right? So people did.
Yeah. Do you know what? I
But
think that's another thing as well, right? Is that like at all the European events, again, it's like it's more than just obviously people go to compete,
it's a social
but
thing,
then as soon as people are done competing, they're there to like socialize and stuff like that.
and
And I
it's
just
not like that at
wonder
all.
if,
It's not.
yeah, that's such a shame, man.
I know. You
That's
know what
such a
people
shame.
do? They
Oh,
grab dinner and food with their friend groups, and that's it. Separate friend groups. There's
yeah,
no like giant like, hey, let's do this, right? For the
that's
most
such a
part.
shame, man.
Sometimes
Yeah,
at NAIC they might have this up, but like for the most part, like we have a Discord with the channel stuff. We can tag
yeah.
people, right? It's the social aspects, the community social aspect isn't there.
You
So
need a
I get it.
a
People
few
go there.
Kaisers,
Yeah, yeah.
like
And Kaiser can't be at every one of these, right?
yeah,
But like
yeah,
that it's just and some people complain about it, be like, you could be the organizer for this stuff if you
yeah,
really want it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like it's not
Bro, I'm
like
not gonna lie. I
there's
bare
no
didn't want
appointed
to
role.
organize the world's thing, yeah. But the
You had a
only
great
reason I
time.
did it is because no one else was gonna do it.
Yeah, you stepped
And it
up
was
and you
just,
did it.
usually it's Adelian who's doing all these European
Yeah,
ones, or like Adelian
but
in
he was in
partnership
the
with like
UK,
someone
right? So
else.
he couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like someone's always there to take initiative. Even this weekend in Barcelona, I don't know what's going on in Barcelona, but like already, as soon as they announce it, Paula Shah, she was like, oh well, I guess it's sort of my turn to host everyone. Like everyone's sort of
exactly.
like taking that initiative
Yeah,
and being like, and she's trying to compete as well. She ain't got the
yeah.
time to be
She
like
got stuff to do.
entertaining people, but it's happening anyway.
Yeah,
So
it's I don't know. People, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, it's a mindset thing. You know,
mm,
the cost thing, sure, but like I said, Arrow, a great example. I
yeah,
don't know what he did. I don't know what program he did, but he made it work, right? He did the research. He put in the time. He found a way to do it, right? I know that's not always in everyone's budget or whatever, but like it's way more feasible for it's more feasible for the people that's saying it's not than I think they realize.
right, yeah, yeah.
Like if you need a reason to convince yourself to go to a tournament, I mean, that's on you, right? I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know what to say, but I don't know. If people are offended by this, it is what it is. You know me. I'm just speaking my mind. Like I'm being. This is stuff I can't say on the official broadcast. You're right, Anicor. Right? I can't be letting loose here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
See
phrase it
the
differently.
registration number, like 94
Yeah, yeah.
only.
Only 94 the first tournament. Like
Come
Baltimore
on.
last year, like sold out like real quick.
Yeah, yeah, true that, true that. That was
They
way
did.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. People
Mm.
complacent. What we have the top 3 players in the worlds from
Hmm.
Worlds are from North America, and we have the lowest participation numbers. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
don't
Like it
understand.
doesn't feel great for me to do well in a small tournament too, because I know like I'm not facing the best in the field, right? There's some that are
Mhm.
really good, right? And I'm not hating on my opponents, but like also like I know like well I'm dodging a lot of big name players in Europe. Like
Mhm.
you're not dodging anyone. I feel like all the Europeans are there at every one day, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
like
There's
like
there's no such thing as an easy European tournament, you know.
say,
Uh,
well, they didn't do so well at Worlds, so maybe they are all easy.
hey, hey, let's not forget
uh,
Scaffo. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You're one last
that's
hope.
that's the line for the rest of the year, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, until someone
I
else.
need a new candidate next year.
Speaking of European tournaments too, I know Wdage said he's going to EUIC.
Oh, swear!
Oh, that's a
Sick.
plan. That's a plan.
Nice,
I think he
nice.
turns 18 around that time too. So
That's
EUIC.
exciting. That's exciting.
I think Onion Frank's gonna try to go. Maybe Hot Pocket.
Nice.
Like,
Bruv, do you know
yo,
what? Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
know
would be
what an American
disrespectful.
perspective of this would be.
A
Huh?
non-European winning EUIC. That's disrespectful,
Hey,
man.
do you know what?
You better work.
I'm welcoming the competition, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. Of
But
course.
also, yeah, in football, I don't know if you have this in like, like American sports in it, yeah, but like in football, yeah, you've got, teams play home and away,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because it tends to be that like teams will have that
Home
home
field
turf
advantage. Yeah.
advantage, yeah. So I wouldn't be too sure, yeah. Obviously, these are some very good players, yeah, but bro, coming into our continent, yeah, and dominating our tournaments, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. First region
Yeah.
out of Worlds, I feel like it's the easiest region now.
Hey, we went. Oh yeah, we were. Okay.
I mean,
No, no, no. Asia was first out. So.
no, because it was Scafo and then Chiodo came in fifth. He lost
Oh,
to
so they were
LJ.
both the first. Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
No,
it
but
was.
Scaffold was fifth as well, right? So where they just joined
Mm,
fifth.
no, I don't think so. Is that how it works?
Oh, what was there
No,
a? Oh, I
Scafo.
don't remember.
I think at that point in the bracket it wasn't right. We're gonna go Worlds.
I feel like Chiodo was under Scaffold. I feel like
No, Chiodo
Scaffold was
lost
fifth.
to LJ. Chiodo's the
Oh,
right
so
after LJ,
Chiodo
so
was
they might be
fifth.
tied. Your best hope is they're
They're
tied.
tied. They're tied. They're
Oh,
tied.
are
Yeah,
they
yeah,
tied?
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
Okay. I think in
okay.
my mind I thought that
Yeah.
Chiodo lasted longer,
You,
but that was because he was on
maybe it was
stream
the
later.
second
Yeah.
match or something. Yeah,
Yeah, he was on stream later. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they were tied. Wait, so who
Mm.
did Scafo lose to? Oh,
He lost
Scafo
to
lose to
Saxon,
Rubik's. Yeah.
yeah, and
That's what it
Rubik's.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they played that battle first on streams. That's
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, all right. It is
Our turf. Our turf.
but I will say
Yeah,
Scaffold
man.
got 2-0 though. Chiodo only got 2-1.
This is not a good argument. Yeah, like you just
It's fine.
you're just really
I don't know
nitpicking
why
it,
I'm
man.
arguing this. NA already won it all with the top three.
Yeah,
Why am I still
I don't know, man.
why am I doing this? Wadash is gonna win it all in UIC.
Yeah, man. You know what? So far, there's only precedent of Europeans doing well in the US. There's no precedent of the other way
That's
around.
because you think a North American player is gonna travel? They could barely go down the street to their tournament 2 states over. They're not going to another country. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Uh,
true that.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have Bebelicious and Inadequates from last season.
Yeah.
We will see. We will see. Anyway, we have Barcelona on the horizon, and then eventually Peoria. I think also the Brazilian
Curitiba
tournament
is
too.
after
Curitiba, yeah.
Barcelona, yeah. So we have one from each region for the first 3 weeks, which
Wait,
is
where's
nice.
Curitiba at? Is it in Brazil?
Brazil, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So apparently it's a Patricky Albanese local tournament, which is
Mm,
cool.
okay. Low home field
Because
advantage.
like again, Brazil's so big, so it's like
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna have it in like Sao Paulo, but then
Yeah.
I feel like the other locations are kind of
Hmm.
I don't know. You kind of pick like the most convenient because Sao Paulo usually has two. They have a regional and they have the LAIC there, so
Yeah. Exactly.
kind of concentrated there. But such a big country, so
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and then after Peoria, it's Sacramento. So bring
Hmm.
your carbine counters. I'm bringing that
Bring
carbine.
them.
I just okay. This is all I want. If I bring carbine, I just want to lock into Umbreon or Sapewai. Because like what? If the hardest counter to Carbink is Registeel,
Yeah,
you can't lock on it down. You still have to throw a move. So you still get some value.
yeah, yeah.
And they
True,
come
true,
in
true.
with like a Swampert, yo, that Moonblast gonna hurt. They come in with Metachamp, that Moonblast gonna hurt. Like honestly, Carbink looking
I don't know.
pretty
Do you know what I will say?
pretty
Yeah, like as
solid.
much as I don't want to like believe, I will say I feel like those kind of Pokemon, yeah. If you're playing them RPS, yeah, they are RPS Pokemon, yeah. But like, I feel like that approach, what you're talking about there,
Yeah.
seems like I don't know the kind of direction that you have to go in a show six
Mhm.
format. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like
Yeah. It's
aware
like
that
how I
like
did
okay,
Bastion.
maybe I'm yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you're not gonna like get the best sort of like you just have to sort of make the best situation out of it. Do you know what I mean? And you don't want to play too risky with them, yeah. But there is a safer way to play because they are super bulky ultimately. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yo, shout
Yeah.
out to that one. I think he's from Europe actually, from UK. 20 breed or 24 breed.
89
Uh,
breed, yeah,
89 breed.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know him, right? You know
yeah,
he's
yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
UK.
yeah.
That that man's been on the Superior grind for the longest time. He brought Superior to last chance qualifier, and in
Did he
at
actually?
London. Bastion Superior. He runs Bastion
Uh,
Superior all the time. That's how I recognize him, right? Because it's not even the Bastion that shocks me; it's the Superior, right? And I chatted with him at the pub after London,
uh,
and he was like, "Yeah, man, I've been running that all the time, right?" And then I faced him in GBL last year.
and he's
Freaking, I
still
was like,
running it.
I knew there's a Superior in the back, and it freaking rolled me, right? And this before
Oh
Aerials got a
man,
buff, and I think he
yeah.
brought the Bastion Superior again at EUIC this past year. He didn't do
Wait,
so
he is
well with it,
gassed right
but
now. He
yeah, but
is.
yeah. Yo, shout out to A9 Breed, man. This he gonna be making
uh,
the Superior work. Um,
yeah, bro.
but yeah, I want to be the first person to have the most amount of success with Carbon Counter tournament. I'm not saying I'm going to win Sacramento because there's some competition, but I want to try to
Yeah.
at least make
Oh,
top
I
cut.
know. I know one trainer I'm really excited about seeing.
Who
Juan Kawano, I think, is going.
he was at San Diego too.
Was he at San Diego too? Oh, okay, okay. I didn't realize that. No, yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That's what I'm
You know
saying.
what? I didn't realize how old
He
he
didn't do
is.
as well, huh? Yeah, he's young.
Bruv, he's like 16 or something.
Yeah, he's young. He's no, no hate. Marco Wano, like he's
Yeah,
really, really good, right? Really good, especially back in the day. But
yeah.
just kind of took a break from the game, and
Oh, do you
I
think
also
it's
also
difficult to
his
keep
show
up?
six. I don't know how good his show six is, right?
Mm,
I think he did ADL one year. I think he did make it the top
yeah.
portion of ADL, but he didn't do so well in San Diego.
Mm,
I was there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess you are. Yeah.
I hope he
Yeah.
goes though. I hope he goes. He's
Yeah,
from
yeah,
he's from SoCal. He like probably lives
yeah,
really close to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Looking
mean,
forward to that. I can't lie.
again, no hate on him, but I'm more scared of Axon and Elites than
Hmm.
Monkawanyu.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. But
Valid. That's valid.
we'll see. We'll see. That's my goal is to try to make top cut with Carbink. Watch me be in like the bracket of death with like Elite and like Axon. That'd be stupid. There was one of those brackets at Pittsburgh. I think it was the bracket with Rise and Doombug. Neither made it. Rise,
Mad.
Doombug, Andrew Manhars, Lyles, all in the same one.
Wow.
Khaleesi Fitzy there too, and she actually was the one to take Rise
Yeah,
out of
she
the winners
beat
bracket.
Rise, right?
Uh huh.
Sent Rise to the losers. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man.
It's tough. It's tough.
Mad thing. Mad thing.
Yeah, that was a yeah, Matt Ting indeed. Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see Barcelona. All right, prediction again for Carbink. How many Carbink we see?
In Top Cut,
Top cut.
we're going Top
Top
Cut.
top 8. If it's more yeah, let's see.
It can only be top 8 because it's 128.
Oh, okay. Then yeah,
Yeah,
top cut.
yeah. I think zero. Bro. I think if it was going to be anywhere, it was going to be the NA. I don't know if it's going to be.
I'm saying 0. I agree with you. If it
Yeah,
could be anywhere, it's gonna be Sacramento.
yeah. True, true.
Anyway, we ran super long today, so
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in. If you made it all the way to the end, what do you want them to say in the comments?
Oh man,
We got a
I don't know, bro.
okay. You know what? We didn't get a Scroll Trapper comment last week, so I want everyone to write in the comments, Scroll Trapper, where you at? Right.
Yeah,
I want people to
we
write
need to
Scroll
find
Trapper
out
where
how
you at.
he's doing. I hope
Yeah.
he's okay.
You just can't come in just for one episode after not hearing you
Yeah,
for months, right? It's been months. I've
exactly.
been
Because
waiting on
also it's
this
just
guy.
like, is everything okay back home? Bro, like if you want to talk to us, yeah, we're here for you.
You want to hop in the podcast? Come
Like
on
yeah,
down.
yeah,
I'm all for it.
just let us know
I
you're all
think
right.
I did talk to Speedy about it back in the day. I don't
Uh,
remember if we talked about it on air or not, but I talked to him maybe definitely behind the scenes. I was like, dude, we should just bring him on. What's the worst
yeah,
that happens? If it's just like a complete mess, the guy's just like cussing us out or whatever,
you
I
just
just
don't
don't put
air.
it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Patreon exclusive, right? Patreon
yeah,
exclusive episode.
yeah.
I don't think
He's
I
gonna
think
be
that's
starting
good.
asking for residuals, bro. You need to be careful. Yeah,
We
I
gotta know who
mean,
this person is
yeah, true,
first.
true, true. Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Until
we want
then,
the court case, innit?
yeah,
Get his
yeah, yeah,
name on the letter.
yeah, yeah. What are they gonna do? You stole the name Scroll Trapper.
Yeah.
Ain't no brand. Yeah. Anyway, thanks all for joining. And we'll catch you all next week. But be sure to tune into Barcelona stream if you can. Again, on the official
Yes.
Pokemon Go Twitch.
Hmm.
And I'm rooting for no Carbink because again, I want to be the first. I want to be the first in the world to qualify. I have a few accomplishments under my belt. No regional wins, but I want to be the first Carbink successful Carbink user. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, hope we catch you all next time. And until then, have a good one.
Safe.